it's a big step for women to be given this opportunity.
I think when I was young, I never dreamed about it because it was only for men. But now here we are. We have our chance too.
There will never be a first one again. This is it.
Inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup.
You're really competitive with 12 teams. It's going to be really the sailors who's going to make the difference.
We really do have the best in the world racing against each other.
What I'm most excited for is showing girls what is possible. It's amazing that we are given this opportunity, but it's also about time.
Steady pressure from here.
I think it's going to be really exciting.
It's like being on a car, on a rally car, and very fast.
What an opportunity for the 12 world-class teams.
Taking a lot of hard work and dedication.
2, 1.
It's going to be wild racing.
Are you serious? Ooh, let's rock and roll.
To win the first ever Women's America's Cup would be an incredible accomplishment. It's going to be such a competitive regatta with the best sailors in the world.
Target 30 knots.
Making my way here really is incredible, and I'm so proud of that.
Bienvenidos! Barcelona welcomes another beautiful weekend and more America's Cup history. It's the opening day of the inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup. 12 teams, 12 countries, and an extraordinary group of talented sailors. In this fleet, there are 17 Olympic medalists, an eye-watering 58 World Championship wins, plus 4 sailors who've circumnavigated the world. This competition oozes class with a capital C. Each team wants to raise the PUIG Women's America's Cup trophy for the very first time. This beautiful 5-kilogram silver trophy was created by Spanish designer Patricia Urquiola. The format is straightforward. 12 teams split into 2 groups of 6, America's Cup teams and invited teams. Each group races 8 fleet races, with the top 3 point scorers in each group heading to a 4-race semi-final, where the top 2 will then meet in a single match race final for the title. Today we start with the America's Cup teams, which are designated Group A. 4 fleet races are set down. From the practice racing we have witnessed, the sailing is going to be ultra competitive. There is an absolute buzz at Ports Olympic right now for this opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. It really is tingling right now. And the sailors and their crews cannot wait to get out onto the water, as we cannot wait to bring you some high-powered racing and maybe the odd stick-on tattoo as well. Everybody has their teams ready to go. Stalder from Alingi Red Bull Racing, and a haka and karanga, a taste of home from Team New Zealand, the wahine, the women, Ngāti Whātua. A karanga is a blessing for the team to draw inspiration from their surroundings, and it set everybody on edge, and we are good to go.
There's such excitement around this event, and these athletes have waited. They've watched the America's Cup unfold, the Louis Vuitton series, and they just want to get going. They are ready to go, and huge support from families and teams. We saw Ben Ainsley there cheering on Athena Pathway. It's all go.
Absolutely. I think everybody will be looking forward to some fantastic racing. We've seen some great racing previously with the AC40s, and we're going to look forward to some more fantastic fleet racing. Very different to match racing, but really, really cool.
There's a real sense that we're going to explode out of the blocks today, and I can give you a taste to it. The weather doesn't look too bad as well. Let's meet the teams though.
Representing the Defender, this Kiwi outfit is filled with sailors who have spent a lifetime in fast boats and know how to deliver on the biggest stage. Leading the team is Helm Liv Mackay. Opposite her, the experienced gold and silver Olympic medalist Joe Allais, and on performance, it's silver Olympic medalist Molly Meach and multi-hull talent Gemma Jones.
Athena Pathway, representing Great Britain, has a star-studded lineup with plenty of experience and time on the water on the AC40. Led by Hannah Mills on the starboard wheel, she is joined by co-helm Tash Bryant and trimmers Saskia Clark and Hannah Diamond.
Having been embedded with the America's Cup team at Luna Rossa, we'd expect this unit to be well drilled. Led by the hugely experienced Giulia Conte, she has galvanised her talented young team into a formidable challenger. Offside helm is Margarita Porra, trimmers are Julia Fava and Maria Jubilee.
The team of American Magic, representing the New York Yacht Club, are here to do business and will be looking to fly the flag high in today's races. Steering the AC40 is Francesca Klapsic and Erika Reinecker, with sail trimmers Sarah Stone and Louisa Nordstrom.
The Alinghi Red Bull Racing team has fielded an impressive lineup of talent. On driving is the experienced three-times Olympian Natalie Brugère and former junior skiff champ Alexandra Stalder. And delivering pace and smooth manoeuvres is Anya Van Allen and all-round sailing talent Laurent Metro.
The French team of Orient Express L'Oreal Racing have a wealth of experience and are ready to roll here in Barcelona. Trimming the sails on the AC40 is Manon Oudenet and Eloise Retinaz. Joining them on the wheels is Audrey Ugeroux and Pauline Courtois.
Women's sailing has waited a long time for today. It is now time to showcase the talent of our best female fastboat sailors from around the world on the America's Cup stage. And for this much anticipated opening, Barcelona is lining up some stellar conditions. A gorgeous late summer sunny day fueling a building southerly sea breeze. We should see a perfect foiling day of between 8 and 12 knots. It's a fast-paced four-leg race. Picking the right strategy from the get-go is vital. Something that's just got a whole lot easier for us. With the help of Windsight IQ, we can see the real-time breeze in a wind map. It's proving very useful. Green, more breeze, blue, less. We then push that data through our AC40 performance simulation to predict what could be the winning track. And right now, the Ghost Boat is liking that more breeze at the top right-hand side. Let's see.
It is a glorious Saturday here in Barcelona. Inside 2 minutes to start. There is the defender. They now know who they're going to face in the America's Cup, which will Ineos Britannia, going past their teammates. Just quickly onto the water with Peter Lester. It feels like that word, glamour conditions, Peter.
This one's a bit tricky. There's quite a nasty chop running from the east to west across the course, not lining up with the wind. Wind looks perfect, but it will be that cross chop that could be a bit of a trick for the teams, especially up towards that top mark.
Lots of nervous anticipation aboard the America's Cup boats Group A.
We'll be following everyone.
Similar swell action to yesterday. Shirley having that swell direction. We saw the big boats breeze in a similar direction and swell in a similar direction. So swell just pushing in from the side. Going to be tricky on these little AC40s, but all teams now lining themselves up for one last manoeuvre into that start line.
I bet it feels really busy. I mean, the teams haven't had a lot of practice with 6 boats on the field, and it is so crucial to nail that start.
The Swiss team there just tacking and coming off their foils. Need to get that rebuilt quickly to make that start line. All important to keep the boats foiling.
No fighting behind.
Lining up well, New Zealand, Great Britain.
Yep. Pretty slow. 7th kill line. Any pressure?
There's some late starters here by the look of this start. The Kiwis and the British look like they're going to be on time.
Maybe a bit longer.
They got stuck in bad air, dirty air on that right-hand side.
One coming up. Coming up, yeah. I'll get there.
History is made. Welcome to race 1 and the very first PUIG Women's America's Cup.
Okay, no one below. Put down in 2. Okay, just getting settled here. Yeah. One above tax. Put on numbers.
Great Britain had the best start there, just 13 metres back, 28 knots. Nicely executed by Hannah Mills.
Happy to go 15 to boundary. Okay, taking in 3,
Bombs
2,
on board.
1, board down.
It's Team New Zealand.
And turning. 10 knots.
Forward and 2.
Hi, mate.
1. And angle.
Remember, from these series of races, half will go through to meet half from the other group, so important to be consistent, to be in the top 3. Also, the pointing, the scoring system really rewards a podium place.
1 to build. Stay on speed. Happy to press though, keep the fast.
Considering what happened on the water yesterday, it's quite ironic that the 2 leading teams at the moment on opening day are a team from Great Britain and one from New Zealand.
And also more top right.
Joe Allais, gold and silver medalist.
Yeah, I think it's very shifty and very patchy, so let's just, you know,
This is a
know how
sneak
to sail.
preview of possibly what's to come in another week or so's time. Both teams really locked in. Funnily enough, with identical boats in this fleet, very similar performance.
And you can imagine too that a thinner pathway will be buoyed at what happened yesterday with Ineos Britannia going through to the match. That will flow through the whole team.
Certainly will. There's the Italian team of Luna Rossa there. Over speed, 28 knots versus 23. They'll be able to sail up into a position of clear air.
They've done so well to come back at a really average start. They'll learn from that, but great pace here, moving up through the field.
They are absolutely ripping, the Italian team. Very good boat speed there compared to the Kiwis, the British to windward. Like a lot higher ride height on board.
The
Italians versus the Kiwis there.
They will likely go on lay for right turn.
Pretty sure looks good, top right.
Getting up near the top, decisions around the ley line. Such a short track, this.
Slowing down there. Can go a little more run.
Boundary in 10.
Red Bull Racing also making their way back into this race as well after a slow maneuver restart.
1 for 17, 18.
Emirates Team New Zealand under the ley line. We'll have more manoeuvres to do.
Press. Very slow. Okay. I'll lower the build.
Wow, you can really see that swell from that aerial shot, rolling from left to right across the field.
So the boats effectively surfing upwind on those swells. You can see there the swell basically coming from behind the boats and getting onto one of those swells. A big advantage. You can really gain some performance if you can surf those well.
The fleet really is starting to pack in at the top gate for the first time. This will be the completion of leg 1 of 4. And as we head into that top gate, leading the fleet will be Athena Pathway. Great Britain take that final tack. They will be followed through by Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
No issues behind.
Oh, Luna Rossa off the foils. Slow manoeuvre. Having to stay slow to get round the mark.
They'll need to get down to about 90 degrees true wind angle. The problem is now they're punching straight into that swell, so difficult to take off. They may have to actually tack or jibe to take off down swell.
And the question is, can Emirates Team New Zealand now take advantage of that as they and American Magic complete the first leg, followed by the Swiss from Alingi Red Bull Racing, and still quite some way, Orient Express L'Oreal Racing.
Then go down. Bring away. And angle here. I have the gas of the boat in front.
It's like a really big hole of wind up the top end of this course here. Surely a lot more pressure where the boats actually started. They've sailed up into some fairly light breeze. You can see the angles there. Everyone just back and forward across the course trying to stay on the foils in this slightly light patch. The boats that get away will sail into the back of that good breeze, which is the British team, and they should extend to a really, really solid lead if they can keep the boat forward.
Slow ahead. Rolling up.
Certainly patchy at the top of the course, and what's running through my mind is, with it being so patchy and the breeze on and off, is minimising manoeuvres, and I think that's what Great Britain have done so well. Beautiful start, and their manoeuvres have been kept to a minimum, and they've really benefited through that, and they have extended out to a pretty comfortable lead.
Yeah, Pete's right. I mean, great start and just kept it very simple, good execution. We're seeing at the top of the track, it is only between 6, 7, 8 knots, occasionally really, really patchy. But Athena Pathway extending into more pressure, 10 knots at the bottom of the course. This impressive lead is going to get bigger and bigger.
There's a little battle just brewing here, isn't there, between Lingy Red Bull Racing and American Magic for that potential, let's be very careful, potential final podium spot. I've got to say, though, I'm somewhat surprised. You'll excuse us for being somewhat surprised as what's going on with Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, who went 3 from 3 in practice racing.
Coming up on 2, 1, need a build out of this, only 9.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 1.2 nautical miles and shifting the axis to 210.
And Maxi's there.
That's your angle for the Americans, that's your angle.
Reducing Q.
Okay, on this angle for the Americans.
So just watch them behind you. They try to bring some traveler up, please. Yep, give me some view. Rolling down.
Really, really tight battle between those two boats. And as you mentioned before, Shirley, Rich just getting Rich up at the moment, just sailing down into that extra pressure. So that rubber band just getting stretched. As long as it doesn't break and come back and flick you in the eye. You're in good shape.
Well, picking up the wheel on port side is Tash Bryant.
Looks like a really nice pressure
Athena Pathway, Great Britain are making a statement to the rest of Group A in this opening race of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They have got a leg on the fleet, so to speak, and they are just, well, they're just cruising beautifully right now as they complete leg number 2 of 4.
So that lighter air will eventually make its way down the course. So Kiwis need to pull this jibe off nice and cleanly. They're in a decent bit of pressure there, so they should be able to execute that no problem, but they'll be sailing back upwind into that slightly lighter pressure, so they'll be wanting to pick their timing to make sure they manoeuvre in the best pressure they possibly can to keep the boat, and the foils will give themselves the best chance of doing that.
What's really interesting, and we had the, the advantage of seeing the practice racing, that both these boats had their issues in practice racing, and the improvement is off the charts, particularly for Emirates Team New Zealand, and the starting by Athena Pathway Great Britain. So it's 1 and 2, Athena Pathway Great Britain, then Emirates Team New Zealand.
And 2, 1, angle.
Nice. Right, seg 50 to boundary, 200.
Both the American team and the Swiss having to jibe to get to this bottom gate.
Or
so
down in 3,
two
2,
very
1, or
clean
down.
manoeuvres surely coming up now.
It's going to be pretty hot out of it. Yep. Leaving trap high. Yep. Or down.
This is a great little dance between these two boats. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, at this point, it's American Magic in 3rd position and Lingy Red Bull Racing in 4th position. Just keep your eye on the bottom of your screen, wherever you are. That'll tell you where your team is on the racecourse and their position.
Bit of a lefty angle. Nice. 198 on the breeze. Copy, big lefty there. Power, be patient. Focus on our boat. Yeah. Let's try to power a bit, Tanya. Yeah, coming. Powering up. Okay.
All these teams are associated with cup teams. Some have worked more closely than others, but all of them, as we can see, are pretty well practiced and drilled. What they haven't had a lot of time to practice is racecraft in AC40s on these tiny, tiny courses. But as you said, Stephen, we will see that progress.
Oh, it will be, we've used this term before, but it will be vertical progression, and you'll see it quite simply in the results.
Back with the Athena pathway, not in a great deal of breeze, but doing really well to keep it flying, really joining the bits of pressure together.
In 10.
It was a big day for British sailing yesterday. British fans will be loving this. Hannah Mills and her team leading the way on race 1.
Right now, it's a case of everything that touch turns to gold. How good, huh?
Tash Bryant, Hannah Diamond on the port side, Hannah Diamond on aero trim there, and reflective goggles there of Tash Bryant. We'll just see how much wheel work in these swelly conditions that's needing to be done to keep the boat on track. A lot of trimming there, sitting behind, keeping that heel locked in. Really important job by the trimmers to keep that heel angle constant. Keep the boat locked in. It's great to see Ben Ainsley down there this morning too, Shirley, cheering the women's team on.
I think he's allowed a day off.
Probably deserves one after yesterday, I think, old Ben. Hopefully got breakfast in bed this morning and eggs on toast.
Well, according to Luke Parkinson, they weren't going back to work till Monday, so they've taken his advice.
Hopefully Luke made it home last night, knowing Parko. They all deserve a good rest. One more manoeuvre, attacking in pressure. Athena pathway, so that's the right place to tack, right the meat of that puff. Best chance to stay on the foils.
Watching the boats come upwind, what's interesting is how hard it is on starboard as we look at an Athena pathway just tack. Because of the seaway, you're punching straight into the waves coming out on starboard, and it's just on that starboard tack that you're liable to touch down. A little bit more pressure at the top of the course this time.
Yeah, it looks okay. We probably just want to get
Athena
out there a bit
pathway, Great Britain will lead the fleet into the final downwind leg, and that will be the homebound run. Oh, just a little bit of a tiny wobble, then they get their AC40 back up and falling beautiful. This is an outstanding performance in these conditions.
Yeah, it's a great shot from the front there. You can see how tricky those waves are. You've got to get the timing so right, so accurate.
Race looks pretty similar across the course now.
Saskia Clark sitting behind Hannah Mills. Hannah on the steering wheel, Saskia there on sail control.
It was that good patch.
Saskia was Hannah's crew. Took a gold and a silver medal. Silver in London, gold in Rio. Trusted team.
They know each other really, really well.
19, 20.
Experience altogether. A lot of experience on board this Kiwi boat as well. Sailing over to that pressure, just a little bit over ley line, but just doing everything they can to keep the boat on the foils. All about staying on the foils in these light, shifty conditions. Sometimes sailing a little bit of extra distance is what's needed to make sure you execute the manoeuvre and keep the boat foiling.
Emirates Team New Zealand holding position 2. That's worth 7 points if they maintain that position by the end of the race. These could be important points as the racing goes on. Remember, each group has 8 fleet races.
On a big touchdown by the US team. They've had a big wobble out on that right-hand side of the course upwind, and that will be a huge loss. The American Magic team are really struggling in this light patch to get refoiling. Switzerland absolutely boosting and possibly taking the right turn if they can lay that. That's a massive, massive shutdown for the US team. Unfortunate.
Just having another look at this manoeuvre.
Don't have it.
Just running out of horsepower
Found an angle.
from the wind in that case, so not much you can do when you sail into a hole. Just can't keep the boat up to speed. The Italians also potentially in a passing opportunity with the American team.
But it's opened the gate for Alingi Red Bull Racing. They had a lovely battle going downwind, and they literally were going through that bottom gate for the final time, neck and neck. But now, one moment, we say it all the time, one moment, and it will be costly. But my gosh, look at the lead that Athena Pathway Great Britain has on Emirates Team New Zealand.
Oh, you don't get points for distance. The Kiwis just need to hang in here. Get second spot and a ton of points.
Okay, 20 seconds off.
Yeah, impressive first day performance from Hannah Mills. Double gold, silver medalist. Saskia Clark behind her.
Hannah.
I might want to dive before this nasty wave. There's nothing up my boat. Am I board down in 3, 2, 1, board down.
I will. For exit. Board up. All the way up.
They've been here in Barcelona since early summer, and you can tell, well practiced, confident crew.
It's been a statement performance by Athena Pathway Great Britain in Group A of the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They have done a magnificent job, and they will bank 10 points. They top the fleet with 3 races to go today. And finish it in a little bit of style.
Oh, you might as well get the postcard photo on your first race with a bit of spray. Great effort. Athena Pathway.
Okay, nice work.
Really, really nice job. They'll be happy with that. A nice little wheelie there across the finish line. Nothing like a celebratory wheel stand, Stephen.
We'll have to clean the goggles now.
That's like the dive over a try line. A bit of flash and dash, and why not?
Great points, though, for Emirates Team New Zealand if they can pull this jibe off. Final manoeuvre. Very important one as the Swiss are coming in, foiling behind. Wanting to power those twin skin mainsails up as much as they can. Good job. Down the swell, and they'll be safe as houses.
Emirates Team New Zealand will cross the line second. They will put on their logbook, that's 7 points. That's where you need to be, primarily through the whole regatta. Top 3, bank the points, bank the points, bank the points.
It was a tidy race for the Kiwis. They should be happy with that.
Every point an absolute keeper, as we've seen with the Youth America's Cup. Every single point making a big difference towards the end.
1, go down, no rush. And turning now. 2, 1, board up.
Final jibe for
No rush to come down, no
Red Bull
rush.
Racing.
I'm with zero point.
They've done well to dig their way back.
Sorry, going down. Yep.
Get some valuable points as well. Top 3 boats. That's where you need to be.
A bit of starboard upwind after this one.
Alingi Red Bull Racing cross the line to finish in 3rd position. That's 5 points.
Running up. 5 over target. Okay, nice one. Good job. Good job. Sorry for the starts, girls. It's okay. I think we really have to pay attention.
After having problems initially, the Italian team have really come back into this, and certainly looking to bank some points. And that's one of the keys, I think. Every team is going to have their moment and have problems. But the Italians have moved ahead of USA, and that could be valuable points when we get to the end of the qualification period. So good comeback by the Italians.
Yeah, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli done well to limit the damage It's a long series this. You have to make sure you're collecting the points and you finish in the top 3.
Well, as I said, I go back to what I said before, Shirley. You know, we saw them in pre-race form in the practice races, and they were the star of the fleet. So this will have knocked them a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Plenty to think about. But left on their own, they have pace to burn.
So Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli dig themselves out of a major hole, and they will bank 3 points.
Turning 2, 1, and border.
American Magic will be ruining the touchdown at the top gate that has cost him plenty of points. But they will come home in position 5, and that's worth 2 points.
Rounding up in 2.
So clip that ticket. There's 2 points for American Magic on the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup.
Of touchdowns during that race, costing Orient Express Low Oil Racing a chance to get into the top 3 positions, but they'll regroup after this, and I'm sure we will see some great racing coming out of this French team over the next few races. So I'll put this one down to experience, and they'll be absolutely carrying on. Still got one manoeuvre to do to get through the finish line, but I'm sure we'll see a lot of great work in this team. Races coming up shortly.
So Orient Express L'Oreal Racing will fill the final spot and get across the line and pick up the solitary point. Whole fleet across. Confirmation of the result of the opening race in the PUIG Women's America's Cup Group A, the America's Cup teams, and a very, very strong performance by Athena Pathway, Great Britain. That 1 minute and 19-second win against Emirates Team New Zealand. The podium, shall we say, completed by Ilingi Red Bull Racing. Let's go on board Athena Pathway, Great Britain, and catch up with Hannah Mills. Hannah, congratulations. That was a sterling performance to open the regatta.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. I think everyone's just buzzing to get going. Feels like we've been waiting to start for a while, and yeah, nothing like some waves and fairly light breeze to test the nerves.
Yeah, Hannah, massive congratulations. It's great to see everyone out racing. It does look like pretty hard conditions. How tough is it to stay up in the foils and pull it all together?
Yeah, it's super tough.
Apologies there. I think maybe a race committee are talking to you, but understandably, smiles all around. That's the most important thing. Get ready for the next race, Hannah.
Thanks, guys.
Well, let's have another look at it. I mean, standout starts from the British team and the New Zealanders. Beautiful start at pace. Really nails it. The other teams, I think, caught out by bad air in that right-hand side of the start box. And it was still tight at leg 1 between New Zealand, Italy, and the British. Tricky conditions, wind was up and down. It'd be hard to pull that all together.
Powering up. Okay.
But beautifully executed by Athena Pathway, Hannah Mills and her team. Kept on the foils the whole way round. And in the end, won by a country mile. Hannah Mills, Athena Pathway and her team win in great style the opening race to what is going to be a fantastic series.
It's fantastic to see Saskia just laughing and smiling as they'd already gone through the finish and having a good giggle, and all having a lot of fun.
this is a moment worth having another look at. It was the tight battle for third between Lingy and American Magic on the first downwind leg, and the Americans were ahead in third, working hard to shake the Swiss off their hip. From one boundary to the other, Lingy did not want to let go, and in the end, American Magic chose to sail between the bottom ley line to force Switzerland into following them, and they kept that small advantage going into the next lap. But it was a single mistake, and as the Americans fell off the foils in the lighter winds, the Swiss managed to fly past and secure the third place and 5 points.
Just having a bit of a crunch of the numbers here, and a real tour de force for the British team. Athena Pathway able to sail clear and follow a clean route around the gates in this first race. And with that space, you get to turn when you want to, you get to sail your own race, and no surprise there that they had one of the lowest number of manoeuvres as well. Solid average speeds as well around the track, and they thoroughly deserve that race win in race number 1 here in Barcelona.
The America's Cup is a symbol of excellence. We know that today we are seeing some of the world's best sailors take to the water in pursuit of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. To sail these one-design, high-speed, high-performance AC40s to victory, 4 will need to think as one. Success comes down to talent and the skill of the sailing team.
It's a big step for women to be given this opportunity.
There will never be a first one again. This is it.
I think it's a really good step in the right direction.
We really do have the best in the world racing against each other. We provide no excuses for cup teams to not look at female sailors in the talent pool for the traditional cup teams in the future.
When I was a kid, I was always saying, oh my God, I want to do that, Luna Rossa America's Cup. I'm feeling very, very lucky and honored to be part of this team.
Good start by all of the fleet in the PUIG Women's America's Cup.
The boat coming across us on board.
The PUIG Women's America's Cup is a landmark event. In lots of sports, there is tokenism. We just don't believe in that.
I got it. Holding and rolling down.
We believe that people should be there under their own talent. But women don't have a natural pathway into the America's Cup.
This is a who's who of women's sailing.
The format of the women's event is we have 6 from the America's Cup teams and we have 6 from the invited teams, and they each race separately in separate pools, and then we take 3 winners from the America's Cup team side, 3 winners from the invited teams, and they come together for a set of fleet racing. And from there, the top 2 winners of the fleet race come together for a final match race, and it's whoever wins that takes all.
Because there's going to be teams that push it too far, and they'll end up on the sides. The high speeds that they're capable of makes split-second decisions critical.
There's no age limit for competing. We're seeing a lot of talent across all disciplines of sailing. We have a lot from the offshore field, we have a lot from the Olympics, and just fresh back from Paris, we have some Olympic medalists.
So it's a great day for sailing, but especially for women in sports.
And I really hope that we're going to inspire 5-year-old, 8-year-old girls to follow their dreams, and those little girls can say, hey, see, there's professional sailing. I can go and do that.
Keeping speed on to make this drive, boundary drive.
To win the first ever Women's America's Cup would be just unbelievable.
I think the moment is now, and it's just the momentum's going to carry.
It is the the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, the very first time we've had a Women's America's Cup, and we have our first delay card after race 1. We understand the delay called, the 5-minute delay card has been called by American Magic. So we will be sitting in delay just for a moment while they sort their AC40 out. If you are just joining us around the world, race 1 has been completed. It was a beautiful performance by Athena Pathway, Great Britain. They led the fleet home by over a minute. Second was New Zealand, followed by Switzerland, Italy, the USA, and the team from France, represented by Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing. The conditions are good, Shirley Robertson.
Yeah, we can see someone on, we could just see someone on American Magic just repairing the wind instruments on the bowsprit at the front of the boat. If there is an issue with that, you're literally sailing blind. Hold on there. Looks a little bit precarious in these waves. So yeah, a little tweak there. Hopefully that won't be too long. As you said, each team has 1 delay card to play in the series, so you really only want to use it when you need it. Hopefully that is all fixed.
But the wind is good. The sea state has turned into be a challenge for them. Let's just go into the water with Peter Lester. Peter, conditions now ahead of race number 2.
Looking up the course, a bit more pressure at the moment at the bottom of the course, but it still looks really patchy and quite hard to actually, because of the seaway and the light, the sun. It's a beautiful sunny day, but it's making it quite hard to see the wind on the water because of the glare just bouncing off the sea. So it's quite a dynamic sort of an afternoon.
Yeah, we don't have that problem because we have windsight IQ. The water is not that funny patchy colour. Green indicates to us that there is more wind there. And as Peter said, it is really patchy, and you've somehow got to stay in the pressure, avoid the lulls, especially if you need to do a manoeuvre. It's all about really timing, being patient, eyes out the boat. Not an easy racetrack today for these women.
Well, that's why the performance of Athena Pathway was so smart, because they picked their spots, they read it beautifully, and look at the distance they were at the front of the fleet by the end of it. So they're in sync right now.
They certainly are, and these days are really, really tricky because sometimes you have plenty of breeze to be able to do the manoeuvres, and other times you're like, crikeys, we are sailing into a big light patch. Do we tack or jibe early? How do we execute this? Sometimes even making sure you're actually surfing down a swell can actually lower the true wind speed that you need by 1 or even 2 knots to keep the boat foiling. So lots going on at the moment, which makes it exciting.
You really need good comms between you all, eyes out the boat. Let's have a quick look at the ghost boat. I mean, it is liking starting currently at the right-hand side of the line and maximising that drag race to the left-hand boundary, and then a short hop in at the top. But it's joining the pressure, and for us, we can see that in the green areas on the track. Who knows?
Well, the big area that some of the teams that finished low down the order will want to sort out is their starts. I think there were 2. The breeze was good, but there were 2 that came off their falls at the start. They can't afford to do that.
They were in the bad air. I think they hadn't really anticipated that. They've probably not sailed with 6 boats apart from in a short practice day. And yeah, in the bad air, it's hard to pull off a manoeuvre. Too far away, too line shy. I think we'll see a different lineup for this next start.
This is probably one of the better places to watch it on the shore, but with your phone, because you can watch it on your phone live as well. That's the other important thing. You get the best of both worlds. If you're a person that has seasickness, but then you don't have to worry about it. You just watch it on your phone and have a nice refreshment.
Well, the eagle-eyed sailing fan would have noticed she was actually taking a picture of a J-class yacht that used to be used for the America's Cup nearly 100 years ago, and they are here racing, and what a sight. 40-foot boats flying around, the Defender out practicing, super yachts here, and also the J-class.
Just for those that haven't seen much AC40 sailing before, these little AC40s, the flight control is automated, so as we see on the AC75s, the bigger brother and sister boats, they have manual flight control. and basically we actually, the crew doing a really good job of just trimming the sails, not having to put in any power.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete, and this race is live.
So we're good to go in race number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. It's Group A, the America's Cup teams. Race 1 by Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Keep your eye on the start.
There's currently a little bit of left-hand bias. Also, the best pressure at the moment is top left. You might see a fight on that side of the track. All the teams now, they're not going down into the death corner on the right-hand side, all above the line.
Athena Pathway possibly off the foils out of one of their manoeuvres, so the only boat off their foils at the moment. Tash Bryant and Hannah Diamond, they're having a big job ahead of them to get back on the foils here. They must get the boat foiling, otherwise they will be in big, big trouble off this start. All other boats on the foils currently at the moment.
We've got 9 knots at the bottom of the track, but there's a lot of bad air as the boats go back and forward. Less than 2 minutes to get going.
The team's just up the course, just keeping up in that clear air. All teams now potentially 1, possibly 2 manoeuvres to go before having to get off the start line. A little bit too early on the board up there by Lindy Red Bull Racing. They might have just saved themselves there. A couple of other boats now coming off their foils as well.
The chase is coming on the British, got 15 knots, nearly at takeoff speed.
French team now off their foils as well. So big battle now for boat handling. Tricky little boats to sail in these bumpy conditions. That's what it's all about. British may have just dug themselves out of that hole and foiling, so they'll be looking at executing their manoeuvre for an on-time start. So good job there, getting foiling again. The French needing to build speed. They'll be building in the dirty air of the other boats that have just sailed past them, so not ideal for the French team. Foreign Express Royale Racing currently.
Oh, the French could be in long-term parking there, on port, in the middle of the line, and all the bad air.
Let's go.
And Luna Rossa just on the foils there too, in bad air. There's Magic and the Kiwis driving back into the dirty air as well, so the British might get the whole shot here.
Race 2, Group A.
This is the umpires. Restart penalty France and restart penalty Switzerland.
America's Cup, and guess what? They may have been off their foils, but they're first out of the gate. Athena Pathway, Great Britain, big save.
Athena Pathway kept their eye on the prize and nailed it. They were 26 metres back, but who cares? They are leading the fleet in race 2.
Really big step change coming.
Yeah, touching the pressure in 5.
Might be a big head of subs.
Yeah, copy. Okay, when you're ready, we should roll.
Okay, stand by. Board down in 3, 2, 1. Board down. Turning.
5 builds. Board up. Big build. Okay, nice pressure all along here.
This racetrack's full of danger, isn't it? Really got to judge all those manoeuvres, make sure you're in good pressure, up to speed.
We're seeing potentially gusts of about 12 knots on the left-hand side of the course there, and only about 6.5 to 7.5 knots on the right-hand side. So it will be really interesting to see if these two leading teams short tack and actually head back to that left-hand side of the course. Big pressure on the left, so don't be surprised to see some manoeuvres back to stay into that pressure.
Let's go now. Press.
So the majority of the fleet flying except Emirates Team New Zealand.
The Kiwis just coming off their foils pre-start, jibing straight into a big bad patch of dirty air, just no horsepower there to keep that AC40 aero package fuel injected.
Athena pathways have just tanked, coming back into that pressure. What was talked about during races, especially from Great Britain, was the need to actually get into good old-fashioned trimming. They're on J2 jibs, and at the bottom of the range, when the wind's really light, they're probably a little bit underpowered. Top of the range, up around 12 knots, they're okay. But what the chatter was between races from Hannah Mills was, look, we need to trim the sails, just ease the sails a little bit if we need a bit more horsepower. And I think that was what they were doing when they jumped back on the foils after touching down pre-start.
If in doubt, ease it out.
Pretty good breeze in about 10.
Yep, tack when it flaps.
It works in a lot of boats.
Keep it simple. Swiss team digging their way back in, and also the French team, after being off the foils there at the start, also re-accelerating and now actually up into third position, which is great news for them.
I will. Forward up. Speed all the time here. Yep, good angle. For attack there where you can be.
Athena Pathway actually had access to 2 boats, so in the last few weeks we have seen them out training. They have taken this seriously, and it shows, even in these difficult conditions.
Yeah, big step
They're looking
change here
strong.
for manoeuvres and things.
Race 1 winner, Athena Pathway, Great Britain.
It'll be a settle and then jibe when we
Again,
feel it.
leading the fleet at the top gate. First leg of 4 completed. To think they were off the foils with about 1 minute and 20 to go before the start. And look where they are now.
Be surprised if we see an early jibe from the British team to sail back over to that pressure. And on cue, jibing. You can see there on the course, even by eye there without the wind field, just that lighter breeze looking downwind to the left.
In comes Lingy Red Bull Racing in position 2. Race 1, they were in position 3, so looking for points, valuable points. The way it's structured, you need big points. Then, Orient Express L'Oreal Racing, who finished at the tail of the fleet in race 1. They swing around the top gate in position 3. Oh. Enjoy the ride.
This is foiling, sailing 101 at the moment. It's all about short jibing on the downwind leg to stay in that pressure. There's obviously a huge discrepancy in pressure, so absolutely French needing to jibe, which they do, to stay in that pressure.
And the battle here in the minor positions. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, American Magic, who pulled their delay card. They follow each other around that left-hand mark of the top gate. Still no sign of Emirates Team New Zealand up on their foils.
Drive here. Yep, they go,
The Americans probably needing to keep the eyeballs out of the boat here. Possibly the early jibe there on, but they've decided to carry on into that lighter breeze. Be interesting to see how much ground they lose there.
Boundary in 10. Okay, going more down. Okay, 12.5 knots here, right hand shift. Quite a lot of fluid here all the time, Han. Yeah. Coming up.
About 30 seconds off the line.
Are we all right wind-wise this way, or do we need to time?
Should I think we should go for it?
Yeah, let's go.
Stand by. We're down in 2.
Tash Bryant, Hannah Diamond trimming for her behind.
Low time. Bad plan.
10 knots,
Wobbles there through that jibe.
Big rusty. All the way up.
Touchdown. Left it too late to get back into that pressure. I think the British team, can they dig the boat back out? The Swiss team. Swiss team are actually the giveaway boat here, so they will need to go up around the back of the British, which they do.
My bad, girls. Good job.
But they're almost on lay line. Almost on lay line, the Swiss team, so
will be early tuck.
big gains there for Lingy Red Bull Racing. Sailing down that boundary in pressure and just making a last-ditch run to that gate, so that'll be smart. to possibly even jibe while they still can here in pressure and get back into that breeze on the left-hand side looking upwind.
Another indicator of how clean and efficient you must be in the AC40 to avoid losing a place and valuable points. Oh! Hang on a moment, spoke too soon. Alinghi Red Bull Racing off the foils. There goes Athena, pathway Great Britain. Oh, they're struggling to get around the mark. Watch out who's coming in. Orient Express and L'Oreal Racing.
Could be a full restart here, Stephen, of this race with sailing into this lighter pressure, breeze blowing down from up the top. Whoever can stay on their foils here will potentially win the race as the Italians coming to the bottom.
5 knots of wind pressure down here. Impossible to get going.
Wait for it, wait for it. How are the Italians handling it?
No problem, siamo nella zona con più vento.
Oh, that's a foiling graveyard at the bottom end of the course here. The Americans, what can they do? They're going to be sailing into this light air pressure as well. It's going to be a race back to the left-hand side of the course, back into that pressure.
Let's go displacement around
Americans
the
are down.
Oh
no!
We're down. Again.
Would you believe
It is the maddest racetrack. Currently at the top of the course is 15 knots of wind.
Yeah.
It is coming their way.
Let's jibe.
Skeletons running around everywhere here.
I've got to say though, if you're Emirates Team New Zealand going to the top of the course and if it's moving down towards it, you're actually going, oh, this is actually all right. We might be able to just pull something out of the hat here.
Well, if they take off, which they have.
This is a replay of the Swiss.
Back into this year, the Swiss sailing there. They had one chance, I think, and that was actually to use all their speed they generated and actually drive the boat round that other gate. So it is now a race to take off. Some of the boats potentially close to take off at the bottom, possibly Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, getting the first pressure coming down that left side. British will also start getting their nose into that breeze, but Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, for me, are launched.
And everybody in the short crew breathes a sigh of relief.
For drop and 3, 2, 1, go down. Saranno le inglesi. Vai. And turning. And go down. Come siamo messe? Vai dritta così, DMG.
Yeah, easy cross for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
They will sail up into that new pressure before the other boats around them, so expect them to extend. The other teams sailing across to that light air section, which we've been able to identify with the wind field, but they should also be able to see that with their eyes. The teams that have done the best job of getting back to that pressure again are now leading the race, which generally happens in these situations.
Yeah, just 2, everyone else is on the foils. Copy.
38 knots of boat speed. The Kiwis come into the top of the course. They are a long way behind, and they won't be able to dig their way back into this race, but it shows you how much pressure and wind is coming down on the top end of the course.
Parti in 5. C'è tutta pressione qua davanti. Press.
We're definitely seeing 2 different winds fighting against each other on this tiny racetrack. It's going to be a massive gear shift. 15 knots of breeze at the top of the course.
Oh, and a massive vent there. Got too high on the foils. Luna Rossa, the British now will just sail straight past them. Enough breeze, though, for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli to immediately refoil, but they've lost about 6 or 8 boat lengths in that manoeuvre.
Righty, press into it. Yeah, whenever you're... Okay, bad wave here. Right. No. Stand by. 2, 1, go down.
Foil vent has meant that this race is now back on again, so a solid lead thrown away by Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, but they are still in the hunt. They need to keep sailing well. Having a quick look at the replay here of that tack. Just getting through here. Big load, a little too long there with the windward foil down. Just sheeting on hard, punching out of a wave. Full ventilation there on the foil, so mistake, unfortunately. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, but they are still in the hunt, just hanging on by the skin of their teeth. The race lead, race 2 here in Barcelona. Have right away. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli having to give way, but they may be just ahead. The English decided to attack underneath. Shirley almost on lay line for the top mark. Possibly one more manoeuvre for the British. Italians possibly on lay for right turn.
So at this point of the race, race 2 of the Group A in the PUIG Women's America's Cup, with 3 teams, half the fleet up and foiling. There goes Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli leading around Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Winner in race number 1.
Anna Mills, Saskia Clark wrestling the bull around the top mark there, doing a nice job, just keeping under control there. 40 knots of boat speed. See the bottom of the course as these boats are sailing downwind. Those 3 boats that didn't get out of that bottom gate and get into that pressure still sitting there. So
So Italy looked to have good pace to me, even though they had that touchdown coming upwind for the second time. They do look to be beautifully in balance, and that means they just have good speed. But today's going to be about the 4 races being consistent. You don't have to win every race to win the regatta. And for, I think, Italy and Great Britain, it'll be about being consistent through the day and trying to minimise the risk of a touchdown.
I call for the jibe, okay?
Totally agree with Peter there. Maria Giulia, Giulia Conti on starboard there.
3, 2, 1, down.
Handing over to Margarita Porro and Giulia Fava. Really nice job, just staying in the pressure, sailing fast.
Giulia Conti, the real leader in that team. She's a 3-time Olympian. Ivan raced against her back in 2004. Really solid, experienced performer, world champion in the women's skiff class. Has brought a calmness to this young team.
So the
straight to the high performance sailing, that's for sure. Just sailing into some really light air down the bottom here. You see American Magic still parked.
So the weather conditions play havoc in race number 2, but we get a winner, and it's a different winner this time. It's going to be a slow finish to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, but they get across the line.
Massive wind shift, I think, Shirley.
Yeah, it's coming off the shore, and that's why they really struggle to get across the line there.
Gee whiz, this may be a full transition shutdown here. This could throw the race on its head. You can see there a complete shutdown, transition zone and new wind direction. Athena Pathway here, caught in between 2 breezes. This could throw the race wide open as they come into the finish. 2 breezes fighting each other. Which one will win out, we will see shortly.
So Athena Pathway, Great Britain, might have to get the paddles out, but look out who's coming in at pace. Will they hit it? Alinghi Red Bull Racing. Hold on here. Points on offer, and oh boy. Wait for it.
They'll just sail straight into no breeze here, and they just coast past. with their boat speed. Absolute transition zone here.
Stay on the line, lad. We're going to cut the line.
And they are just going to just hopefully get past. My word, how quickly has that changed in a blink?
Will be the boats possibly even coming from behind.
Can I leave the board?
That might be the biggest gainers here, depending on what happens. But
Lingy Red Bull Racing have passed Athena Pathway, Great Britain, but are they going to get there? It looks close, but let's take a look at the nose and where the finish line is, and we'll tell you. That's how close it is. Holding, waiting. Yes, Lingy Red Bull Racing take position 2 in race number 2.
They did well, they saw the opportunities, the Swiss, they kept a calm head. Got that very valued second spot.
Try to go up, Nat, if you can. Wow. Go up, which way? Okay, this way. It's going to be attacked.
It is crazy weather here, almost 180 degrees different to what we have at the other end of the course. This breeze coming off the land.
Probably want to get quite through this line, so don't get
Keep pressing there.
Possibly some of these other teams in risk of timing out if they can't get from the top mark down through this transition zone. Athena Pathway inching their way across the line there.
Make sure we don't drift back through. Might be tacking in the
And they are across Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Win race 1, finish 3rd in race number 2, and pick up the 5 points for that 3rd place finish.
From our left side.
Watch the boats
on
the beach there, some little cruising fun cats down there in totally different breeze. So you'll see the rest of the fleet coming down in the old breeze, absolutely ripping. We've gone into a good old-fashioned transition zone as the new breeze tries to fight its way through.
Quite a bit of tramp to windward, lower.
Emirates Team New Zealand had a heck of a start, or no start, and they have managed at this point, be very careful here, to pick up some points.
That's good. Right there.
They picked up 7 in race number 1 for finishing 2nd. Now if they can hang in this position, they'll pick up another 3.
Turning. Hi, mate.
Happy board?
Happy board.
Making the most of us while we have it.
It is quite amazing
It's going to get weird, eh?
just watching this and watching a boat
I think just try and get as close to that finish
sail
line
into
as
dead
possible.
end. Just dead zone.
Molly Meach painting the picture there for Joe Ali going, it's going to get weird up here.
Yeah, I've got you.
And
it
certainly is weird. It's a full transition zone.
Yeah, weird is a good word. It has been the wackiest of races.
No. Up. Up or displacement.
Down. I think we're into a displacement.
That's what happens when you run out of
Where's the
fuel.
pressure coming from?
Unsure. Are we diving?
Is
Now
it your
remember,
mate?
there's still Orient Express and L'Oreal Racing.
Happy to dive over.
As you can see there by their flag, they're in position 5 at the moment.
They could, even from there, potentially wobble their way past the Kiwi team, depending on how this transition is actually filling across the bottom part of this lower sector of the course.
This is the race committee. Race 2 is stopped.
So only 3 boats finishing out of this race. The race having timed out, and those final 3 boats have to get confirmation on how many points they'll all get each for that. But that transition zone just coming through and turning this race absolutely on its head.
So confirmation of a result in race number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup that has been called. A win to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, followed by Lingy Red Bull Racing, and then Athena Pathway Great Britain are confirmed in position number 3.
Well, the chaos started before the start. Really, Athena Pathway did really well. Off the foils at 2 minutes to go. Got rolling and nailed that start. Miles ahead. And leg 2, it looked like the race was in the bag, but it was getting patchier and patchier. Little mistake on a maneuver there meant that Alingi Red Bull Racing were right back in the game. Well, it all happened at gate 2, full park up. It was all about patience there, waiting, looking for opportunities, getting in the breeze first. And it was the Italians and the British that did just that. The Italians got ahead. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli rather inelegantly took the win in race 2. There was lots of crazy moments, but we're going to have a look at the one at the bottom mark at gate 2. I mean, when you are foiling fast and when you fall off, you absolutely stop, and that is what we had. Athena Pathway lost the lead to Alingi Red Bull Racing, who then splashed down at the rounding. And the British, well, they didn't just follow their route, but did follow their fate. And just before the Swiss, French, Italian and Americans all found themselves struggling in the light wind bubble at gate 2. We said that today was patchy, but we'd no idea it was going to be this tricky.
Well, I think we could actually grab that stat sheet, throw it out the window for me, because today it was all about pressure recognition and actually staying in the breeze and manoeuvring up that left-hand side of the course. So Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, average speed there, 5 knots almost quicker than Alingi Red Bull Racing. And again, all about keeping your eyes open, heads out of the boat and sailing the boat well in the pressure.
On board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, we have a chat to Giulia Conti. Well, you get the 10 points, but only just. How difficult is it out there?
It's crazy. The wind is crazy today. There's very, very big holes of wind, of no wind, sorry, and very big gusts. We had up to 15 knots, 16 knots at the top mark, and then all the way down to the finishing line we had zero wind, and it was painful to cross the finishing line. And now the wind is all the way from the other side. So yeah, it's tricky, but happy to come out with the win.
Julie, nice job making sense of all of that. You did better at keeping up than we did. There's a lot at stake today, isn't there? You need points. It's so important, and this fleet is tight. How much nerves are there? How much pressure is there to get it right in every race?
Well, yeah, no, it's we're trying to sail the boat as best as we can. Actually, it's not so easy with the sea state and with the big gusts. So a lot of things to change all the time. So there's no time to think about the pressure, but yeah, trying to enjoy every moment for sure.
Well, thanks, Julia. We'll let you go away and think about race number 3.
Thank you.
Great day to watch sailing of all these teams stacked full of talent, just like Emirates Team New Zealand, which includes Olympic medalists Joe Alley and Molly Beach, fellow Olympians Erica Dawson and Gemma Jones, and the falling generation world champ Liv Mackay. These fiercely competitive sailors are determined to etch their names in the history books.
Happy to get down here.
We're starting to come in from the left.
To actually be a part of the America's Cup is something so special, and it's been a long time coming.
I don't think any of the women here could have imagined this a year ago.
Now here we are, racing against the best woman in the world on these absolutely insane foiling yachts.
My name's Joe LA and I am a driver with Emirates Team New Zealand.
My name is Erica Dawson and I'm a trimmer.
I'm Olivia Mackay and I'm a helm.
Hi, my name's Molly Meach.
My name is Gemma Jones. I'm part of Emirates Team New Zealand and the Women's America's Cup team. Been to every America's Cup since I was born, the first being in San Diego in '95.
Famous pair of Peter Blake's red socks.
I watched the 1995 America's Cup with Sir Peter Blake and Team New Zealand. Watching that sailing is what inspired me to take up sailing in the first place.
Emirates Team New Zealand has such a rich history for Kiwis. You know, the whole country gets behind this event, and to have the opportunity to be one of those sailors is very special.
We have an amazing group of female athletes.
I think we have to have one of the most impressive teams on the list.
We are a team of seasoned campaigners.
We've got world champions, we've got round the world races.
Sail GP, Olympic campaigning, and now America's Cup.
This is quite unique for us all because this will be our first time racing all of the teams.
I guess all the women's teams are jumping in the deep end.
The Women's America's Cup being a one design regatta means that we all have the same boat, so it's going to be more about the racing than the boat.
The great thing about the AC40 is it's purely skill-based. There's no physical element to it.
It's such a fun boat to sail, but you need to trust everyone.
Just the performance that this boat has and that it's capable of is really next level.
You need to rely on each other to get the boat around the course.
We all feed off each other and we're all supporting each other, you know, to be the best team we can be and to learn all of this as quick as possible.
We're also really driven, so we're going to push really hard.
I mean, there's no doubt everyone wants to win this. We only do things for one reason and we want to win.
It's going to be super competitive. We've got kind of the top of the female athletes in the sailing arena.
This event is the cream of women's sailing globally.
This is definitely the start of a pathway for more female athletes.
To have the women's AC be completely women and all the responsibility on us is hugely liberating.
I think we're also really excited to see what this could lead to for the future generations.
This event is going to hopefully inspire a whole generation of female sailors.
I think we've all been wanting the opportunity to show that we can sail these boats and we can push it, and this is finally that step.
Now having a Women's America's Cup to aim for could be all the difference that is needed.
It's not just for us, it's for our families, our friends, Emirates Team New Zealand and the whole country.
We've done the work, we know what to do, let's just go out and do it and actually have some fun doing it because this is epic.
Epic it is indeed. We've had two races of the opening day in the PUIG Women's America's Cup here off the coast of Barcelona. It's a delightful Saturday. Mother Nature is having some fun. They talked about having fun. Well, surely Mother Nature's having some fun when you see Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli get to the line, they just stop dead. Oh my goodness.
We're not going to look at the forecast anymore. Just given up on Barcelona. It just is so crazy. I mean, behind a big city, there is a huge range of mountains and Pyrenees. They really affect what's going on. And I think particularly at this time of year when the water's warm, the land isn't so hot, it is very difficult. I mean, the world's best meteorologists are really trying here. But currently we have two different wind directions on the course. It is 250 at one end and 8 at the other. So it's going to take a bit of resetting and perhaps a little bit of patience to get this next race going.
So we are around 8.5 minutes away, a little over, from race 3 in Group A. This is the America's Cup teams. Remember, we have the invited teams that will hit the water tomorrow, and then we've got to find the top 3 in each group after they sail 8 fleet races apiece, and then we cut it down to the top 3. Then the 6 go into a 4-race semi-final, then the top 2, and then 2 of these boats, not these boats, maybe an invited boat as well, will head for the PUIG America's Cup match race final. You know, when we look at this group here, more than 300 athletes put their hands up to sail for Athena Pathway. After an intensive 18-month trial, the list of hopefuls was whittled down to an elite squad. And this team, as you know, is led by Hannah Mills, and it's packed with Olympic medalists and world-class talent.
It's incredibly exciting to have the opportunity to race as an all-women's team in the America's Cup. Feels like it's been a long time coming.
It's a super, super exciting time to be involved with sailing. These boats are incredible and these machines are just awesome.
It's the first ever Women's America's Cup. You know, we want to make history and we want to try and win that. And I guess I feel like we're hopefully pushing through the door so that, you know, the next generation of females to come, there's going to be huge opportunity off the back of this. So yeah, I feel very privileged and honoured to be a part of it. We've had a really long journey to get to this point. You know, we launched the Athena Pathway programme. Ben Ainsley and myself launched it kind of back in 2021. It felt like with the announcement of the Women's and Youth America's Cup, it was just a big opportunity in British sailing to try and build a pathway into the top level of our sport. And since then, you know, there's been a lot of work back in the UK on working with WASP and getting the next generation foiling back in the UK, which has been a really cool part of the project. And then obviously with the Women's and Youth Cup, we've had the AC40 simulator out, did a lot of training on that. That's how we did our selection process. And then we had a phase where we were with Ineos Britannia and we were upskilling a lot of our sailors and a lot of our shore team actually as well. To then move into our own base in Badalona here in Barcelona.
So our CEO is Hannah Mills. She doesn't need much introduction and she's the driver on the boat. She's also like a long-time teammate of mine. We did 2 Olympics together. We won a gold and silver medal together in the 470. So we both know each other pretty well. We know what pushes each other's buttons. We know how to sort of calm each other down and stuff. And so it's been really enjoyable to work with her again.
Saskia brings a lot of experience and she just brings so much energy. You know, she's so positive, so keen to learn, always asking questions, and I think it just has created a really good environment for everyone to kind of follow that lead and just to feel confident and open to ask questions. Anna Burnett just brings a ton of foiling experience. You know, she's sailed the NACRI 17 for multiple Olympic cycles now, been to multiple Olympic Games. She just brings, firstly, real intensity. She works incredibly hard and she just brings some really high-level foiling knowledge.
Ellie Aldridge is on our team as a driver and she's got an interesting background as well, dinghy sailor originally and then switched over to be a kite foil racer. She's actually the only one that's done a whole lot of racing at 40 knots.
Ellie Aldridge just brings total laid-back vibes, which on a foiling boat going 45 knots is amazing. Just that calmness she brings to the boat is exactly what you need when you're racing in tight scenarios or when things are a bit windy and things are feeling a bit out of control. It's kind of the perfect level of person that you need on the boat.
Freya Black's on our team as a driver and she's actually an Olympic partnership with Saskia Tidey. It's interesting to watch them both bounce off each other. She's intense, she's punchy.
I raced against her actually in 470s before Tokyo. She was one of our training partners, so got a real good insight into how she races and she's a really, really good racer. So strategically and tactically, she brings a lot to the team.
Han Diamond's the trimmer on our boat. She comes to the squad with a whole really varied CV, like Olympic sailing, ocean racing.
Saskia Tidey is an incredibly hard worker. She's really positive energy, brings a lot of energy to the team. She's done multiple Olympic Games, a lot of success in the 49er FX class as a crew. So just that sort of sailing, trimming knowledge is really, really high. So yeah, to have that as part of our team has been really, really valuable. The AC40 is amazing to sail. It really rewards accuracy. You know, if you get the heel slightly wrong, it can be a big wipeout. The racing is just amazing. You know, you've got 6 boats going around a race course, bouncing off boundaries, coming together all of the time, and just the communication between the 4 people on board is absolutely critical. There will never be a first one again. This is it. So yeah, it's mega.
The opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Athena Pathway, Great Britain, in a strong position points-wise right now. They won race number 1, picked up the 10 points, finished 3rd in race number 2, so they're sitting right at the top of the ladder right now. Remember, there's always a cut line, and as this regatta goes on, we'll show you the cut line and how brutal it can be. But Shirley, we've just been seeing a story about how they had to whittle down a huge number of applicants for Athena Pathway, and it really was quite a brutal cut because of the talent.
It's pretty impressive, that VT, wasn't it? They did a lot of really talented performing British women to pick from, but some of them obviously were prioritising the Olympic Games quite rightly and couldn't really commit to spending all summer here in Barcelona. In the end, you know, Hannah Mills selected a regular team that had been here all summer, but for the women who were involved in the wider squad, it has been massive learning. And Athena Pathway, they're not just here for one hit. The ambition is that they roll and roll, you know, a much bigger opportunity for women and for STEM, and even the woman who runs the boat, who looks after the boat. You know, it's a woman. It's Sophie Heritage. They're really just trying to build Athena Pathway and make sure it lasts.
We've talked about this before, but can you explain the STEM system? Because it seems like a really positive system moving forward.
Well, the boats are complex engineering, and they involve all kinds of science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and it's a great place to see all that in action. And even on a small boat like this, there is a lot going on.
All right, so that is Athena Pathway, Great Britain. You saw the points table at just a moment before. They lead Group A after 2 races of 4 on race day number 1. So let's talk about the American Magic PUIG Women's America's Cup team. Now they're in a bit of bother right now, but man, look at what's on board. Moth World Champions, offshore legends, Olympians, even mechanical engineers, and how they harness all that talent into one AC40 is going to be the key to success in this competition.
I'm extremely excited to be part of the Women's America's Cup, and like any new project, it's taken a lot of hard work and dedication.
We started with about a year of tryouts in the US. Once we got the simulator, then all of the women and youth had the opportunity over a period of maybe 8 months to come in at different points along the way and have training weeks in the simulator, so that for sailing, starting over the summer, we were able to jump straight into the boat and be able to train on the real thing.
I'm really thrilled with the progress that we've made in such a short period of time, and I'm really just looking forward to getting out there with the other women and competing our hearts out.
It's such a cool design, and to be able to race so quickly and to be able to pick it up with a simulator, so by the time you get out on the water, you already know how the boat works. It's an amazing platform to get racing on, and it's going to be wild racing with 6 boats on the line.
We've done quite a bit of training together now, which has been great. It's been a little bit challenging because some of us women have different projects going on, and like I left for the Olympics for a couple weeks, and then Francesca has left to do her offshore sailing for a couple weeks. However, leaving has actually made our team stronger as well, because getting more experience early on with sailing with different people and then really coming together at the end has made us stronger. The Women's Cup is going to be extremely competitive. We have a ton of different teams that have women from many different varieties of backgrounds.
People are going to go for it right from day one, and you'll see that. It'll be interesting to see the shift from the fleet racing to the match racing for the final, and yeah, the racing will be on.
I'm the starboard helm. A lot of my responsibilities are first getting us off the line in a good position with speed, and then secondly putting the boat in advantageous places on the race course. Always making sure that whatever my port helm can't see, I'm telling her in detail, in the fewest amount of words, what's happening on the race course.
Erica Reinke is a phenomenal helm who's coming to race straight off of the Marseille Olympics. So she has sailed a huge amount of fleet racing, really competitive fleet racing in huge fleets. Yeah, she'll be a good powerhouse as we start racing around this course with a lot of teams out there.
Francesca Klapich is helming on the port side of the boat, and she brings a ton of background in with the big boat sailing, and she's actually really good at feeling the boat and feeling the balance of the jib and the main. And so I think that actually helps our boat perform on a speed. She's a great racer, and so whatever she's relaying to me from the port side, I have full confidence and trust that we're going to be tacking in a really strong position.
On the AC40, I'll be one of the trimmers controlling the aero package, so the mainsail and the jib on the boat.
She has a great background too in offshore sailing. Hearing Sarah lead the comms with Francesca and those two really having great teamwork is incredible. Louisa Nordstrom is my trimmer. She sits behind me on the boat, and it's really interesting, her story, because she's actually a helm in the 470 and has spent a lot of her sailing career helming and has recently transitioned into this trimming role and has performed unbelievably well. And so it's really awesome having a helm as a trimmer because she's really quick to anticipate what's going to happen next.
We are here with the New York Yacht Club. It's their team, and it's amazing to know that you have the legacy of this yacht club behind you all the way through all of the racing. To win the first ever Women's America's Cup would be an incredible accomplishment. It's going to be such a competitive regatta. The best sailors in the world from all over the world who are getting on these boats, and everybody's had relatively limited training time. And they're coming in and just to see how we stack up against each other, to see how quickly we can learn and adapt to the conditions in Barcelona.
I think also it would just show how much teamwork and dedication that our team really put forward and what it really takes to win a cup. And I think it would mean more than just the winning of it. It would mean more for our country and just showing how we can all work together well to perform at our best.
So American Magic, who have got a lot of work to do, huge amounts of talent, but all the teams today on the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup after race 2 have been struggling. They're sitting there on the bottom of the table along with Orient Express L'Oreal Racing, but this is a long way to go. Remember, there are 8 fleet races in each group. This is Group A, and then we will go through the invited teams as well. So there is a heap of racing still to come, but Mother Nature has decided to change things up. Shirley, just quickly, can you tell us from the screen that you're looking at, what is the weather doing as we are in delay to try and get some consistency over the race course? Because we don't have a clock on it yet because we're waiting for race management to give us the clear understanding. Can I ask what you're seeing, please?
Well, sailors who are watching this can see from this lovely aerial, it is really swirly. It's tricky. I mean, we have seen it blowing all from one direction, the direction we saw initially, but then that northerly, that offshore breeze coming back just near the shore here. So really tricky for race management. A little bit of patience, and hopefully it all settled down.
Okay, fair play on that one. So we are in the patient mode. In the meantime, let us take you back to race 1 earlier today, the very first race of the PUIG Women America's Cup.
Lining up well, New Zealand, Great Britain.
Yep. 7th kill line. Any pressure?
There's some late starters here by the look of this start. The Kiwis and the British look like they're going to be on time.
Maybe a bit longer.
They got stuck in bad air, dirty air on that right-hand side.
One coming up. One coming up, yeah. I'll get there.
History is made. Welcome to race 1 and the very first PUIG Women's America's Cup.
Okay, no one below.
Or down into.
Okay, just getting settled here. Yeah. Above tax. Put on numbers.
Copy.
Big split
Great
here.
Britain had the best start there, just 13 metres back, 28 knots. Nicely executed by Hannah Mills.
Happy to go 15 to boundary.
Okay, tacking in 3,
Bombs
2,
on board.
1, board down.
Emirates Team New Zealand.
And turning. 10 knots.
Board in 2.
Hi, mate.
1. And angle.
Remember, from these series of races, half will go through to meet half from the other group, so it's so important to be consistent, to be in the top 3. Also, the pointing, the scoring system really rewards a podium place.
One to build. Okay, on speed. Happy to press though, keep the fast.
Considering what happened on the water yesterday, it's quite ironic that the 2 leading teams at the moment on opening day are a team from Great Britain and one from New Zealand.
And also more top right.
Joe Allais, gold and silver medalist.
Yeah, I think it's very shifty and very patchy, so let's just, you know,
Just a sneak preview of possibly what's to come in another week or so's time. Both teams really, really locked in. Funnily enough, with identical boats in this fleet. Very, very similar performance.
And you can imagine, too, that a thinner pathway will be buoyed at what happened yesterday with Ineos Britannia going through to the match. That will flow through the whole team.
Certainly will. There's the Italian team of Luna Rossa there. Over speed, 28 knots versus 23. They'll be able to sail up into a position of clear air.
They've done so well to come back at a really average start. They'll learn from that, but great pace here, moving up through the field.
They are absolutely ripping, the Italian team. Very, very, very good boat speed there compared to the Kiwis, the British to windward.
At the moment, we will make one of them.
Like a lot higher ride height on board.
Happy to go for that.
The Italians versus the Kiwis there.
They will likely go on lay for right turn.
Pressure looks good, top right.
We're getting up near the top, decisions around the ley line. Such a short track, this.
Slowing down there. And go a little more right.
Boundary in 10.
Red Bull Racing also making their way back into this race as well after a slow maneuver restart.
1 for 17, 18.
Emirates Team New Zealand went under the ley line. We'll have more manoeuvres to do.
Press, very slow. Okay. I'll lower the build.
Wow, you can really see that swell from that aerial shot, rolling from left to right across the field.
So the boats
Now we can lead left,
effectively surfing upwind on those swells. You can see there the swell basically coming from behind the boats and getting onto one of those swells. A big advantage. You can really gain some performance if you can surf those well.
The fleet really is starting to pack in at the top gate for the first time. This will be the completion of leg 1 of 4. And as we head into that top gate, leading the fleet will be Athena Pathway. Great Britain taking that final tag. They will be followed through by Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
No issues behind.
Oh, Luna Rossa off the foils. Slow manoeuvre, having to stay slow to get round the mark.
They'll need to get down to about 90 degrees. True winding. The problem is now they're punching straight into that swell, so difficult to take off. They may have to actually tack or jibe to take off down the swell.
And the question is, can Emirates Team New Zealand now take advantage of that as they and American Magic complete the first leg, followed by the Swiss from Alingi Red Bull Racing. It's still quite some way. Orient Express L'Oreal Racing.
Then go down. Bring away. And angle here. I have the gas of the boat in front.
Like a really big hole of wind up the top end of this course here. Shirley, a lot more pressure where the boats actually started. They've sailed up into some fairly light breeze. You can see the angles there. Everyone just back and forward across the course trying to stay on the foils in this slightly light patch. The boats that get away will sail into the back of that good breeze, which is the British team, and they should extend to a really, really solid lead if they can keep the boat forward.
Slow ahead. You're rolling up.
Certainly patchy at the top of the course, and what's running through my mind is, with it being so patchy and the breeze on and off, is minimising manoeuvres. And I think that's what Great Britain have done so well. Beautiful start, and their manoeuvres have been kept to a minimum, and they've really benefited through that, and they have extended out to a pretty comfortable lead.
Yeah, Pete's right. I mean, great start and just kept it very simple, good execution. We're seeing at the top of the track, it is only between 6, 7, 8 knots, occasionally really, really patchy. But Athena Pathway extending into more pressure, 10 knots at the bottom of the course. This impressive lead is going to get bigger and bigger.
There's a little battle just brewing here, isn't there, between Lingy Red Bull Racing and American Magic for that potential, let's be very careful, potential final podium spot. I've got to say, though, I'm somewhat surprised. You'll excuse us for being somewhat surprised as what's going on with Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, who went 3 from 3 in practice racing.
This is the race committee. We are moving the windward gate, shortening the course to 1.2 nautical miles and shifting the axis to 210.
And Maxi's there. That's your angle for the Americans. That's your angle. Reducing two. Okay, on this angle for the Americans.
So just watch them behind you.
They try to bring some traveler up, please.
Yep.
Give me some feel.
Rolling down.
Really tight battle between those two boats. And as you mentioned before, Shirley, Rich just getting Rich up at the moment, just sailing down into that extra pressure. So that rubber band just getting stretched. It doesn't break and come back and flick you in the eye. Very good shape.
Well, picking up the wheel on port side is Tash Bryant.
Looks like really nice pressure through here.
Athena Pathway, Great Britain, are making a statement to the rest of Group A in this opening race of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They have got a leg on the fleet, so to speak, and they are just, well, they're just cruising beautifully right now as they complete leg number 2 of 4.
So that lighter air will eventually make its way down the course. So Kiwis need to pull this jibe off nice and cleanly. They're in a decent bit of pressure there, so they should be able to execute that no problem, but they'll be sailing back upwind into that slightly lighter pressure, so they'll be wanting to pick their timing to make sure they manoeuvre in the best pressure they possibly can to keep the boat, and the foils will give themselves the best chance of doing that.
What's really interesting, and we had the, the advantage of seeing the practice racing, that both these boats had their issues in practice racing, and the improvement is off the charts, particularly for Emirates Team New Zealand, and the starting by Athena Pathway Great Britain. So it's 1 and 2, Athena Pathway Great Britain, then Emirates Team New Zealand.
And 2, 1, angle.
Nice. Right, seg 50 to boundary, 200.
Both the American team and the Swiss having to jibe to get to this bottom gate. So
down in 3,
2 very
1,
important maneuvers, Shirley, coming up now.
It's going to be pretty hot out of it.
Yep. Leaving trap high. Yep.
This is a great little dance between these two boats. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, at this point, it's American Magic in 3rd position and Lingy Red Bull Racing in 4th position. Just keep your eye on the bottom of your screen, wherever you are. That'll tell you where your team is on the racecourse and their position.
Bit of a lefty angle. Nice. 198 on the breeze. Copy, big lefty then.
Be patient, focus on our boat.
Yeah.
Let's try to power a bit, Anya.
Yeah, coming.
Powering up.
Okay.
All these teams are associated with cup teams. Some have worked more closely than others, but all of them, as we can see, are pretty well practiced and drilled. What they haven't had a lot of time to practice is racecraft in AC40s on these tiny, tiny courses. But as you said, Stephen, we will see that progress.
Oh, it will be, we've used this term before, but it will be vertical progression, and you'll see it quite simply in the results.
Stand by.
Back with the Athena pathway, and not in a great deal of breeze, but doing really well to keep it flying. Really joining the bits of pressure together.
Okay, just on in 10.
It was a big day for British sailing yesterday. British fans will be loving this. Hannah Mills and her team leading the way on race 1.
Right now, it's a case of everything they touch turns to gold. How good, huh?
Tash Bryant, Hannah Diamond on the port side, Hannah Diamond on aero trim there, and reflective goggles there of Tash Bryant. And we just see how much wheel work in these swelly conditions that's needing to be done to keep the boat on track. A lot of trimming there. Sitting behind, keeping that heel locked in. Really important job by the trimmers to keep that heel angle constant. Keep the boat locked in. It's great to see Ben Ainsley down there this morning too, Shirley, cheering the women's team on.
I think he's allowed a day off.
Probably deserves one after yesterday, I think, Ben. Hopefully got breakfast in bed this morning and eggs on toast.
Well, according to Luke Parkinson, they weren't going back to work till Monday, so they've taken his advice.
Something on the bow.
Hopefully Luke made it home last night, knowing Parko. They all deserve a good rest. One more manoeuvre, attacking in pressure, the cleaner pathway, so that's the right place to tack, right to meet with that puff. Best chance to stay on the foils.
Watching the boats come upwind, what's interesting is how hard it is on starboard as we look at an Athena pathway just tack. Because of the seaway, you're punching straight into the waves coming out on starboard, and it's just on that starboard tack that you're liable to touch down. A little bit more pressure at the top of the course this time.
Yeah, it looks okay. We probably just want to get
Athena
out there a bit
pathway, Great Britain will lead the fleet into the final downwind leg, and that will be the homebound run. Oh, just a little bit of a tiny wobble, then they get their AC40 back up and falling beautiful. This is an outstanding performance in these conditions.
It's a great shot from the front there. You can see how tricky those waves are. You've got to get the timing so right, so accurate.
It's pretty similar across the course now.
Saskia Clark sitting behind Hannah Mills. Hannah on the steering wheel, Saskia there on sail control.
It was that good patch.
Saskia was Hannah's crew to a gold and a silver medal. Silver in London, gold in Rio. Trusted team.
They know each other really, really well.
19, 20.
Experience altogether. A lot of experience on board this Kiwi boat as well. Sailing over to that pressure, just a little bit over ley line, but just doing everything they can to keep the boat on the foils. All about staying on the foils in these light, shifty conditions. Sometimes sailing a little bit of extra distance is what's needed to make sure you execute the manoeuvre and keep the boat foiling.
Emirates Team New Zealand holding position 2. That's worth 7 points if they maintain that position by the end of the race. And these could be important points as the racing goes on. Remember, each group has 8 fleet races.
On a big touchdown by the US team. They've had a big wobble out on that right-hand side of the course upwind, and that will be a huge loss. The American Magic team are really struggle in this light patch to get refoiling. Switzerland absolutely boosting and possibly taking the right turn if they can lay that. That's a massive, massive shutdown for the US team. Unfortunate.
Just Just having another look at this manoeuvre.
What happened?
Just running out of horsepower
Found an angle.
from the wind in that case, so not much you can do when you sail into a hole. Just can't keep tied up to speed. The Italians also potentially in a passing opportunity with the American team.
But it's opened the gate for Alingi Red Bull Racing. They had a lovely battle going downwind, and they literally were going through that bottom gate for the final time, neck and neck. But now, one moment, we say it all the time, one moment, and it will be costly. But my gosh, look at the lead that Athena Pathway Great Britain has on Emirates Team New Zealand.
Oh, you don't get points for distance. The Kiwis just need to hang in here. Get second spot and a ton of points.
Okay, 20 seconds off.
Yeah, impressive first day performance from Hannah Mills. Double gold, silver medalist. Saskia Clark behind her.
Hannah.
I quite want to dive before this nasty wave from this lovely camera boat. And my board down in 3, 2, 1, board down. Running.
I will. Pod exit. Board up. All the way up.
I've been here in Barcelona since early summer, and you can tell, well practiced, confident crew.
It's been a statement performance by Athena Pathway Great Britain in Group A of the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. They have done a magnificent job, and they will bank 10 points. They top the fleet with 3 races to go today. And finish it in the women's style.
Oh, you might as well get the postcard photo on your first race with a bit of spray. Great effort, Athena Pathway.
You have just been enjoying race number 1 of the day, the very first race in the inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup. We can tell you we are going to go racing in just under 7 minutes' time. Congratulations to Athena Pathway on that 10-point win. They were followed home by New Zealand, Switzerland, Italy, the USA and France. In race number 2, which was called because the wind just disappeared, but it was a big win for Italy, who dug themselves out of a big hole, followed by Alingi Red Bull Racing and Athena Pathway Great Britain. And when you take a look at the scoreboard, what that shows quite simply is this, that Athena Pathway, after 2 races, lead the table. Remember, 8 fleet races, top 3 go through the semi. So at the moment, Athena, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli and Alingi Red Bull Racing. Emirates Team New Zealand just below the cut line. But do not write off Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing or American Magic, as we saw in the last race. If the wind disappears and you're a good spot and they call the race, you know, it might just be all right. And there's still 6 races to play in this one. This is day 1 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Stephen Mackay with double Olympic gold medalist Shirley Robertson, and then 3-time America's Cup champion Glenn Ashby. This is Athena Pathway Great Britain moments ago. What do you say about that? Welcome to AC40 racing.
Just cleaning the goggles, aren't they, Shirley?
They will need to know. The breeze is in. Look at that. The sea state's in. The breeze is back in the south. Hopefully all that funky transitional weather is long gone. We want to race.
All right, let's go into the water, get it in real time, so to speak. Peter Lester, I love Shirley when she says funky. I'm sure she wants to be a disco queen somewhere along the way in those days off. Talk to us about that one, Pete. Weather.
Well, it's clearing, but there's a big, big black cloud hanging over, really over Barcelona and just to the right of us, and that's causing havoc at the moment. So to the left we've got good breeze, and I think that'll win the day, but right now this big black cloud is just causing a real split in the wind still. So this first beat, if they get off away on time, watch out, there's going to be big breeze but big holes in the course.
As long as that big black cloud's not hanging over you, Peter Lester out there, will be just fine. But very, very tricky day today, and what you do see on the water is you do see a whole lot more than we get to see here on the television. And Pete Lester, one of the most experienced in the business at picking which way to go. And these girls and the teams all needing to absolutely pick their right way around the racetrack. It's an absolute heads out of the boat sort of day today. They'll all be needing to put their heads on a swivel to make sure they're going the right way in these tricky conditions.
Also changing gears, and they've gone for, you can see the jibs now are tiny. They've gone for the J3, so, and there will be holes in this, all about powering up when you need it most.
Changing gears, really important in this sea state. As the breeze goes up and down, you can't sail downrange very well with a small jib, but it's really difficult to sail uprange with a big jib. So changing gears, very, very important. And all the teams will be lining themselves up to get off the start line cleanly. Should be no excuses to be off the foils in this breezy year.
And we've seen these conditions in practice racing, and it was wild. The race was wild, which got us excited because we thought, all right, race like this, and we are going to be on the edge of our seat. Let's get some clearance from race management to go racing in race number 3.
Copy, Switzerland, looking into it.
It's all good now. Takes you.
Maxis, full rebalance.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete, and this race is live.
So we're good to go. Race 3 in Group A, the America's Cup races. Tomorrow it's the invited team. Right now we still have 2 races to get in here, and it will be Athena Pathway Great Britain who are leading the pack, but just by 2 points from Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Let's get ready.
This is going to be full on, this race. Really bumpy sea state and some good breeze, so we are going to see some fantastic action. The AC40s right on the edge. Make sure your goggle strap's done up tight for this one. They are going to be seeing some water over the deck at some point of this race, each of the teams.
The Kiwi team, the French and the USA really need to start to get some points on the table.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli off the foils at the moment, but plenty of pressure to build there and get on the foil, so we'll see them build and take off, controlling their time on distance, so they should be absolutely no problems.
A different form to this pre-start. I guess all the teams would have had time to chat to their coaches, work out a plan, all coming from above the start box.
There's still plenty of time to kill before this start. The object of the game is to try and put yourself in a position in a fleet race where you have a boat speed advantage over your opponents off the start line and the ability to sail the angle that you need to sail for best performance and not get held up or dictated to by any of the other boats around you. So jockeying for position, very, very important in a fleet race start.
Left-hand side of the track looks really promising. We might see them trying to gain control there. Italians up and charging back to the start line.
Redoing Tracy. Vedi le barche? Internal in front.
Athena Pathway tacking back, final approach. Checking their time and distance.
3, 2, 1, coming up, 2, 1, button, and turning.
5 boats all locked together. This is going to be the tightest start yet.
This is the umpire's penalty USA relative to France.
So it's rush hour at the start, ahead of race number 3 in the PUIG Women's America's Cup, and we are racing.
Good start by Athena Pathway, Hannah Mills. They've practiced that a few times.
Shift average, 15 knots.
Impressive extension on the fleet.
Take a touch more, Ken. Breeze coming on in 2. Inversion's good there,
It's Team New Zealand. Windward end of the line, getting off the line relatively cleanly. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli a few seconds late to that start.
Okay, team.
Not getting their time on distance from on that far side like they'd like to. They're still in the race.
When they tack,
A big battle now for clear air. This next tack.
American Magic got a penalty for a windward lured situation in that pre-start. They must roll back.
Massive touchdown by Malingi Red Bull Racing. They will lose valuable metres in this early stages.
Okay, stand by. Forward down in 2. 1, forward down. Your wheel, no issue. Take turns.
We've seen throughout this racing, whether it's the Senior Cup or the Youth Americas Cup, how crucial getting off the start line is. Oh, big crash down for Lingy Red Bull Racing.
Rossa, Prada Pirelli digging their way back through the fleet after a poor start, so they'll be wanting to charge their way through. Big dip there by the Swiss around the back of the Italians. And the Italians sort of out of phase with the rest of the fleet, so punching through some dirty air compared to the rest of the fleet. They'll just need to sail a clean race to get back into this. Top 3, really close race in the top half of this first beat. Oh, Norrie Express Loyal Racing punching it out of the back of a wave, out of that tack as well. They'll be paying an 8 to 12 boat length penalty in the rebuild there.
Manoeuvres are hard in these waves. Needs real coordination between the two helmsmen and the trimmers, keeping the power on, picking your moment.
Well, the challenge has changed now, hasn't it, from the first 2 races?
Very, very different breeze conditions. Sea state getting up now as well, so as this breeze keeps kicking in.
A little touchdown for Athena. Did well just to pick it up again, power on.
The touch and go, not a complete disaster in these upper range conditions. 16 knots now coming into the top of the course, so some really, really exciting conditions. Not easy, but Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli just crossing French team.
Italians, good shift on that right-hand side. Back in the game.
Yeah, out of phase and now challenging for the lead. So they are the giveaway boat compared to Emirates Team New Zealand. They'll duck in behind there, but snaking their way back through the fleet from being last off the line to be now in 3rd position and absolutely charging.
Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Away they go, lead the fleet. They know what to do here. Close intersection between Emirates Team New Zealand and Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. The fleet is tight at this point. Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing go through in 4th position. Then it's American Magic who had that boat-on-boat penalty, but they're still in the hunt. It's rough. It's rough out there.
Yep, good.
Only 13 knots of wind speed, but waves much bigger than the breeze.
This is the umpire's penalty New Zealand relative Italy, and penalty clear.
I've got some loose moments on board. Athena Pathway in this jibe is not over yet. Got to get it locked in there. That was a very, very close moment to a big, big foil ventilation as they went into that jibe. So nice job to just hang on to it. Anna Mills, Saskia Clark handing over
This is the
to
umpire's
Tash Bryant.
boundary penalty GBR.
Athena Pathway miles over the boundary.
Oh, and a big touchdown, Athena Pathway. Oh, they've really, really got the plough attached to the front of that boat.
Just can't really get locked in this run.
Huge gains to the Italian team as the Kiwis and the French come charging in from that other gate right-hand turn at the top. So fierce battle. All about sailing well and locking in, doing your job accurately on the boat.
This is what we wanted to see. It's such a good battle.
Pony Express L'Oreal Racing doing a brilliant job. Just off the hip there of Emirates Team New Zealand.
Great breeze all the way down the track. It is all about sending it, pulling off those maneuvers. Currently nearly doing 40 knots in these little boats. Close here between the French, the Kiwis.
Anyway, from here. We're down in 2, we're down, the French go.
Simo jibes on board these two boats, so nothing in it. Oh, the Kiwis have got a bit on here.
Hold. Okay, happy order.
Well saved, come heads.
And away from here.
Joale picking up the wheel.
This is race 3 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, and it is all on in stronger conditions. Leading the fleet to the bottom gate for the first time, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They complete again. Rush hour at the bottom.
Oh, massive move by Emirates Team New Zealand inside. Really late call. Really tight racing.
Keep your eye on the bottom of your screen. There are the positions. Luna Rossa, Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing, Emirates Team New Zealand, Athena Pathways, who had to give up space and time on that penalty. American Magic and Alingi Red Bull Racing. They're all around and up on leg number 3 of 4.
Hi, mate.
Beautiful tack on board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Luna Rossa were late getting off the line. They touched down in that last minute 30 before the start, but they have shown some serious good boat handling and good speed. For Great Britain, they got over on this on the right-hand side on that downwind, and it's really tricky out there. Quite a lot of wind, big waves, but still the patches. And it was that touchdown that we saw the lead change. Really challenging conditions. Some of the most challenging conditions I've seen here in Barcelona.
A lot of lured heel on a Athena Pathway. Like they're really struggling to lock it down in the waves.
As Pete said, got this cross swell, and now we're getting wind chop on top of that coming from the wind direction. So effectively 2 or 3 different wave angles all bouncing off each other, bouncing these little boats around. Not easy to trim or steer. Not easy if you're the auto pilot for the ride height control either, having to deal with all those mixed signals.
Steering here, Pauline Courtois, 3 times match racing world champion. Hoping she can use her skills in the final. The big battle to get there first.
These AC40s all powered by 100% battery. No grinding or cycling involved in these little boats. So power on tap. That's how you use that power. It creates the performance of these boats. Accurate steering and trimming, absolutely key to getting the boats to sail at their maximum performance, particularly in this confused sea state.
16 knots.
We're still 20. Yep, coming up, all right. I think we're just following the boats to windward. So your eyes on them.
Steering on Emirates Team New Zealand was Liz Mackay, the voice you can hear, Joe Alla.
Able to go wider. Okay, taking here in 10.
Such a good team, this. They can hang it together. A real threat, full of performers, street fighters.
Gemma Jones, no stranger to sailing high-performance boats on the Olympic class NACRA 17. Very experienced campaigner.
This is the umpire's New Zealand boundary penalty.
An unforced error there for the Kiwis. We're disappointed with that 75-metre penalty. Oh, and they've got plenty going on here.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli still doing a number on the rest of the fleet in conditions that have really got up and put all the fleet under pressure to handle these mobile roller coasters. They're around. Athena Pathway, Great Britain, they are sitting in second position. They will complete leg number 3. That penalty is. How much is it going to hurt Emirates Team New Zealand? At the moment, they still sit in third position. But the chasing pack are almost on them. There goes Emirates Team New Zealand. Followed by Orient Express and L'Oreal Racing. There's American Magic and will be Lingy Red Bull racing at the tail of the fleet.
Going away. Hey, keep flying. Angle in 2. Once. Angle here. It's a big lefty. Happy to drive whenever. I'm ready, Anya. Happy. 3, 2, 1. Go down.
It's their 41, 42 knots of boat speed. Yes, really bumpy conditions, like going over a set of whoops in a car or a bike at pace.
Yes.
Super high speeds for a very small boat.
Steering on port, it's Margarita Porra. Trimming for her, Giulia Fava.
By jibe. Lower. 2, 1. Go down. And go down. Slowly and turning. Okay, my wheel.
Both young sailors, Margarita 25, Giulia 23. Absolute youth stars in foiling boats, 29ers. Going fast.
These women definitely not scared of the pace and the performance of these boats. Absolutely at ease.
If they can master getting off the start line, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli look dangerous.
Danger is their middle name. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli will steam home in this third race of the PUIG Women's America's Cup and take another big chunk out of the rest of the fleet as far as points are concerned. The Italians win and bank 10 big points. Oh yeah, they'll be happy about that. Coming home in second position to pick up the 7 points will be Athena Pathway, Great Britain. The whole fleet really given a stern test of their ability today, but they have handled it well. What about that final podium position? It will be Emirates Team New Zealand. They got rid of the penalty quickly at the top gate, just before the top gate, and come home with a valuable 5 points. New Zealand crosses the line.
Nice race, guys.
Okay, happy to round up?
To boundary.
One final drive for Orient Express and L'Oreal Racing, but man, they get points and they need these points. They need them as much as American Magic need them, who will follow them through in 5th position. They will complete race number 3.
4 down in 2, 1, 4 down. 2,
Turning.
Board up. Actually, we'll just keep both boards. Probably. Yeah. Keep both boards.
And there's the Lingy Red Bull Racing. They were in the hunt for a while, and they had top, basically the top of the penultimate leg, but seemed to have sort of hit the handbrake somewhere along the line on that last downwind leg. But they will come home and they will complete the race. So we get a full complete race, which is the most important thing, and they'll get the solitary point. And with 5 races to go, they'll be wanting to move up the ladder. The Swiss are home.
And going up in 3, 2, 1, going up.
Confirmation, Fleet Race 3 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup and Group A, the America's Cup teams. A second win in a row to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, followed by Athena Pathway Great Britain, Emirates Team New Zealand. And then a little way back, Orient Express L'Oreal Racing, New York Yacht Club's American Magic, and Alingi Red Bull Racing. So now we go on board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Julia, completely different conditions what you were doing in the last race. A real hang-on to the handlebars race.
Oh yeah, it's on. I can tell you it's on. Some gusts to 18 knots. The boat was pretty fast in the better ways, I can tell you. I saw the boat speed. Yeah, it's fun, but you have to be like fully focused because the sea state is a little rough. So we're trying to focus not to touch down in any moment. So that's the main goal for the race, for sure.
Julia, can you just explain to us your pre-start strategy there? You were quite late getting going before the start. We were worried you were going to miss it, but you came through charging and managed to snake your way through the fleet. What happened there?
Well, we just lost the flight before the start, so we had to go to plan B, which was trying to start, basically. Yeah, so we managed to have a good recovery.
You certainly
after
did.
That really bad start. So yeah, super pleased with that. The girls are doing an amazing job at the trimming. So yeah, we need to keep pushing. One more.
Looks great. Looks great. Well done. Carry on.
Yeah.
Shirley next, I think.
Keep pushing, Julia. I mean, it seems like when you get free, you have pace. How confident are you in the team's speed to make it happen?
Well, I'm fully trusting the girls that, you know, they're making the best out of the boat, and I try to push hard. We all try to push hard. We want to go faster, and yeah, happy to come out with another win. So let's go for the next one.
Now we're looking forward to that one. Good sailing.
Well, this is what we've been waiting for. I mean, a really class start. All the boats there. Luna Rossa slightly behind, having to play catch-up, but beautifully executed by Hannah Mills and Saskia Clark on starboard on Athena Pathway, extending on the fleet. By gate 1, they defended that lead so well. The British round the top mark in first place. Yes, split feet on this second upwind leg.
And the team of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli absolutely ripping on the downwind legs and coming through with a really, really great win. They'll be stoked with that.
Slowly coming up.
Just having a look at the key moment. I mean, a crowded rounding for the whole fleet at Gate 2, but especially for Athena Pathway and Emirates Team New Zealand. And it always feels nice to be the inside boat going round the mark, but things start to become difficult after the rounding, and the British could dictate the heading for both boats and force the Kiwi to sail slow and have to tack away. And what felt good 1 minute quickly turned into a loss of control.
Look here, yeah, obviously the Italian team take the win and have the best of the data on their side as well. 0.3 of a knot, better average speed over the British, better VMG and the shortest distance sailed. However, Hannah Mills and her team keep things simple with only 9 manoeuvres, but Conti The Italian team clearly enjoying the breeze in that last race and setting the bar high for races to come.
So it's all on and a huge crowd in at the race village today. You can see many Union Jacks, lots of the Tricolore for the Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli fans, and they'd be happy right now. The Union Jack still flying proudly after Ineos Britannia went through and won the Louis Vuitton Cup yesterday. It's all on in the regatta in Barcelona. And as we know, the America's Cup is the oldest and greatest obsession in the world. And for the first time, we turn a page on a new chapter, the PUIG Women's America's Cup. Kids around the world hope and dream that one day, just one day, they might get the chance to make history. And that dream is now a reality for a very fast Italian team.
Participating at the first Women's America's Cup, it's an honor. When I was a kid, I was always saying, oh my God, I want to do that, Luna Rossa America's Cup. When I stop and think about it, it's just like, wow, it's the first time and I'm here. So I'm feeling very, very lucky and honored to be part of this team.
It's a dream coming true, but still didn't realize it. Actually, I think I will realize it on the first day of racing, probably. But yeah, I'm very happy and proud.
For sure, being a NACRA sailor, it was very easy for me to just go on the AC40 and be on a fast boat, because I always do that. And also racing on a fast boat is not a simple thing. You have to be used to it.
Sailing NACRA 17 is really helpful for my knowledge in the AC40 and also for the speed, the sensations and stuff like that. You feel the boat on the, I don't know how to say it, on the ass instead of the hands. I mean, a little bit less, but yeah, simulator and NACRA 17 have been important part of my preparation. My opposite helm is Giulia Conti. She is an icon for Italy, a female icon. She has a very good view of the sailing course, so she just gives a look and already knows what to do. But it's also hard to understand her mind and try to stay on pace.
It's not easy just to do your job for half of the time. So I think we can give something every time. Streamers are always focused on the boat and helping the helms to set the targets and see outside.
For sure, we can start to anticipate each other. It's the game that requires it. It's better for us to train in English because in Italian we talk a lot, you know. For saying a thing, we say more words than in English. And for us, looks better because the communication is more clear.
We have a lot of support from the Italians, and that's like that. Italy always do it like that. We are all in something.
Because in Italy, Luna Rossa is very important. It's like the national team of football. And everybody talks about it when the cup starts. Everybody tries to send us good vibes, also for the wind, and so we feel that support for sure.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on day one of the PUIG Women's America's Cup and Group A in the America's Cup teams, and they have banked 2 wins, 2 in a row, and they lead Athena Pathway Great Britain by a solitary point. And as we've seen before in the UniCredit Youth America's Cup, that cut-off point at 3 is going to be a race to be in that 3rd position, and there's a long way to go as we get ready for race number 4 of 8 in Group A. Glorious Saturday in Barcelona.
This is the race committee. The wind sampling is complete, and this race is live.
Okay, yours again. Okay, just got those 2 port tackers and then no one else. Okay, we're about 30 seconds off the pin.
Well, let's have a quick check-in with the racetrack. Have a look at that ghost boat, which uses the wind field data. It really likes that long run into the left-hand boundary, maximum pace, maximum distance, and then approaching from the right-hand side.
Yeah, we can't drive at the moment.
Let's go into the water, Peter Lester.
Looks more settled. I think things have settled down a wee bit. That breeze coming, or the wind coming out of about 210 has actually won the day, and this one looks more settled. We've still got that difficult sea state, and jibing from starboard to port. Watch out for that on leg 2.
The team's working their way a lot further downwind now before the start in these windy conditions, so the dirty air off all the boats less drastic and less critical in these windy conditions, so boats are a little more efficient now, and that dirty air not quite as disastrous in the pre-start, so plenty of power on offer.
Yeah, a lot less risk from that, but the box is small when you're going at 20, 30 knots. Quickly getting across to the boundary.
All teams using their training wheels at the moment, putting that windward foil down and just stabilising the boat, just making the boat easy to sail.
All about time and distance now. That'll be the comms on board. When to tack, head back.
Yeah, have to get low if we can. Okay, my will. We're good, actually, yours.
Hannah Mills starting the charge back to the line.
Get deep if we can. Go fast to kill. Not coming down much.
Potentially wanting
wanting
that left-hand end starting off the pin.
Yeah, coming down a bit now, but still.
Okay, board down. 3, 2, 1, board up. Okay, charge. We go for the roll.
Lina Rossa, Prada Pirelli staying high, wanting that right-hand end of the line.
Heel 6.
Red Bull Racing really late potentially for the start. Very, very late approach. Americans possibly late as well.
Athena Pathway have the left-hand end all to themselves.
Still pressing for target.
Race 4, Group A. PUIG Women's America's Cup.
How much, sir? 285. No, how much, sir? 5 left. Okay,
Americans actually getting a slingshot through the windward end of the line there, so just managed to get around the back of the Kiwis and had to get through the eye of the needle.
Best start was the Italians, only 9 metres back and at pace. Tight battle this, closest we've seen them all.
Really interesting as they come off this boundary, boat into that boundary, having right of way to be able to tack over, but only have rights while they stay in that boundary, so the other teams having to tack and let them out of that boundary.
Simultaneous tacks between the British and the Kiwis, powering over to the right-hand side of the course.
Boats getting a clean tack away. Have a really tight battle across here. All about keeping the foot down, steering and trimming well for maximum performance. You see the teams that are doing this well, taking gains. The ones that touch down and get wobbly, sliding backwards.
Joale having a look. She battled Hannah Mills for Olympic glory for nearly a decade. Here they are back on the racetrack, eyeing each other up.
USA actually the right-of-way boat here.
Speed will help us with the wave, so it's slightly wider than targeting.
The Italians having to give way.
Intersection with Athena in 5.
By Richard Slater and his team.
By 1. Happy, same with Prada behind them.
They're well and truly across the port tackers there, so no foul. And
Count as a 60, you're happy with that? Not happy. Okay.
Well and truly in this race.
American Magic really needs a good race, sitting at the bottom of the table.
Good speed. Good mold with New Zealand.
Great to see them back in the game here.
Might have one in right from here.
ripping tack on board Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They just flicked the boat round beautifully on a nice part of the swell, just turning as the boat was dipping down into the swell and accelerating out the other side. So very close race at the top.
Yeah, cool. Target 30.
Italians across the front of the Americans. This top sector of the course, you'll see all the boats start converging as they get closer to this top gate. Clean a pathway, though, Shirley. Look like they're getting a nice little wind out to that top right-hand side of the course. Taking some gains, possibly not in pressure, but in angle.
Big loss to Luna Rossa there. British team did really well on the right-hand side of the track.
As Peter was saying earlier, very difficult to see the wind on the water in these really lumpy conditions with the glare and with some water on your goggles, sitting down low, sometimes tricky, but big right-hand shift there. The British team making the most of that, sailing a shorter distance to the top there, getting bent up towards that top mark. So taking a gain, shorter distance sail, take a commanding lead going into this top part of the course.
Clean a pathway, correct Britain. They already have one win. It was the opening race of the day, and they did a sterling job on that. Can they repeat it in the last race of the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup? We've been waiting a long time to see them ripping at high speeds and in close quarters, and that is exactly what you are getting. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, American Magic.
Angle at 2, 1, angle.
Emirates Team New Zealand.
19. Slow bear. 23.
A little bit of a wobble coming around, and right behind them, Orient Express L'Oreal Racing.
Straight inside there into a jibe. Kiwis just getting high and slow, just staying on the foils there with a really down speed manoeuvre.
Driving in 20.
Lingy Red Bull Racing get around.
Pitch. Main satin. A lot of pressure in front, please.
Team's absolutely flying on this downwind. TV not doing justice of how fast these boats are really going, but the spray coming off that little carbon fibre foil is any indication of how fast the boats are going.
Okay, on
board.
Puff 25, and 2, 1, puff on. Jump up. Good number here.
Very tidy upwind for Great Britain. We're into a more normal pattern now, where we've seen late in the day the wind wants to go to the right, a bit more angle in the right, but more importantly, flatter water and pressure. And that was what Hannah Mills and the team picked up to get into the lead. It'll just be interesting now to see whether they can hold off Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, because they look fast.
See how fast the Italians can send it downwind.
We try 0.6 here.
The British team doing everything they can to hold them off.
And slightly. Chop for 10.
We've seen these flags battling it out, almost even performance for the last week and a half on the AC75s.
Close to a lay, they'll be driving.
Absolutely nothing in between those two boats. Nothing in between these two boats either.
Square.
The Italian team now having right of way, Shirley, over the British, so decision now on the British of how to handle this. They'll probably duck up behind the Italian team.
performance.
No, I was wrong. They decide to jibe. Close to ley line, but possibly another manoeuvre needed by both boats. Italians closer to laying in than the British.
Both these teams have worked really closely with their Youth America's Cup teams, and we'll come to this with plenty of information and settings. No surprise that they are rapid.
Also Prada Pirelli displaying how you can get speed out of these one-make AC40s, but right on them is Athena Pathway, Great Britain.
Little left shift coming down there, so we couldn't see that on our screens, but British doing a nice job driving on lay. Well and truly in the mix. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli just taking a small advantage.
Americans are through, so too will the Orient Express L'Oreal Racing, pushing hard against Emirates Team New Zealand. And the Lingy Red Bull Racing imperative had a fairly solid downwind leg. We're halfway through race 4.
Anna Mills there saying left shift, so that left shift they did the downwind in, now they are in that on the upwind. Potentially going back right again, up over to that right side. American Magic hanging on. Top 3 places is what it's all about in this series. Goings back to the British there, locked in and sailing well. Tash Bryant and a diamond. All the business well at the moment.
Così va bene, ancora un filo, pressa un filo, ok, Michael on the deck che faremo insieme a loro appena buttano giù l'arma, quindi state stand by, ok? Va bene. Afficcio, one, button, my wheel, che presso un po', siamo al boundary,
Boats coming up to the right-hand boundary, and this could be a crucial manoeuvre for both boats in terms of race 4, Simo Tack. Athena Pathways from Great Britain look to have a little upwind edge, and they really now have got in quite a strong position. For Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli in that leeward position, they'll be trying to reduce the gauge on the windward boat to try and stop Great Britain rolling over the top. Great race.
This is a great race, and what a battle. I've got a feeling this might run and run all week. Quality teams, well drilled, practice, great racecraft. The battle has started. Just a few meters between them. Love that shot from the onboard camera. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli just managed to move forward. In a pathway tacking away.
Boat's getting to open course now, so having to do at least one more manoeuvre each to get to the top. And the British there just taking a little bit of a shift, tacking away from the Italians. So back to that possible favoured right-hand side. We saw that in the last upwind leg. The British taking a huge gain out there, and we're interested to see how it pans out from now.
Oh, American Magic fans will be disappointed. American Magic off the foils. Struggling to get going, even though there's plenty breeze.
They were running in position 3. They were running in 3rd position and looking good for valuable points.
Just having a look at their onboard, see what happened.
Yeah, just a little vent and a little touch down there, but not reacting quick enough to ease the sails and actually bear the boat away. So holding the boat high, washing all your speed off, then basically having no lift from that little foil. So needed to ease the sails quickly, bear away to keep the speed on.
Well, the battle for first place is well and truly on. Coming back on port, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, neck and neck with the British team.
It's coming up to the next cross, and we're on the left-hand side. It does look to me as though Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli are just ahead, and they'll be able to get round the bow of Great Britain, and that's a crucial cross as we come into the top mark for the last time.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli nailing it on them. They know the British are dangerous.
So Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli in defensive mode as they complete the third leg of 4. They're heading home. They make it 3 in a row today. Or will Athena Pathway Great Britain have something to say about that? It only takes one wobble.
Really nothing in that beat, so both boats splitting and coming back, and it was really just a slight gain to the Italians, but been able to tack in front of the British, give them a little bit of dirty air just for a short period, and then execute a really high-speed slingshot bear away, and have turned that into a 100-metre lead.
These manoeuvres crucial on this battle.
Real battle for this third position between Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing and Emirates Team New Zealand, 3rd and 4th, as you see it at the moment.
Big battle for 1st and 2nd, and we've got a big battle for 3rd and 4th currently at the moment, so both these teams needing to push hard on this downwind for those valuable points at the finish.
Currently the Kiwis in 3rd place overall. Remember, after this series, it is full reset. Just have to make the top 3. They have to keep pushing.
The completion of this race will be at the halfway point of this series. Top 3 boats going through to the final, going to the top 3 of the Group B invited teams, so important to make that top 3 cut. Italians extending on this downwind, Shirley sailing the boat beautifully.
Impressive racecraft from Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, and also really calm comms. You get the feeling that they've been working with Jimmy and Bruni on that, very considered.
Quindi square, bending qua. Davanti a te.
Beautiful sail control on board Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, really nice. Nicely locked in on roll, which is so important on these AC40s. It's important on the 75s as well, as it is on most boats, but controlling the leeway, very, very critical on a foiling boat.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, they had a bit of a wobble in race number 1, but they've certainly found their form now, and they are in a rhythm. They will hit the line here in race 4, and that will be 3 race wins in a row for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli on the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. You can bet they're happy about that. Followed in by Athena Pathway Great Britain. These 2 teams signalling they could be the teams to beat. Yep, happiness all around. Britannia fans, or should I say British fans, and also Italian fans as well. Oh, it's been a big 24 hours, hasn't it? Big 24 hours for both those supporters. Now, how about this one?
Big cross coming up here, very, very close. The French pushing hard, just a jibe in front to try and take this valuable set of points. Oh, they're loose here. The French, they've just got it under control.
And they hold on, the French. Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing, they need some points. And they will get it. Valuable points for Orient Express and L'Oreal Racing. 3rd position, followed home by Emirates Team New Zealand.
Great job, Orient Express, L'Oreal Racing.
Lingy Red Bull Racing come home. It's been a long day for them. but they're in the hunt. That's all that matters with 4 to go.
3, 2, 1, running up. Angle in 2, 1, angle here. Good job, not an easy one. 8.760.
Ora, Marghe, fai tu.
Grazie, sempre io, zio cane.
Un attimo che...
Vado io.
Qua sotto c'è un ramo.
E fare sì.
Vai. Fate voi.
Confirmation of race 4, day 1 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup racing. And this is Group A, the America's Cup teams. 3 wins in a row for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, only just against Athena Pathway, followed in by Orient Express L'Oreal Racing, who really did need that win and those points. Emirates Team New Zealand coming in 4th, followed by Alingi Red Bull Racing and New York American Magic in P6. So what does the standings look like? Well, it's quite simple. There are 2 teams that are just simply sizzling hot at the moment, and that's Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli and Athena Pathway Great Britain. But the chase for the 3rd spot is going to go for the next 4 races. Emirates Team New Zealand, Alingi Red Bull Racing, Orient Express L'Oreal Racing. But just don't count out New York American Magic. They're sitting in position 3 at one stage. It was one final, a little mistake that cost them. But that's how deadly it can be to make a mistake. You won't be going forward if you keep doing it.
Let's have another look. I mean, really tidy start. Great Britain owned the left-hand side of the track, punched out at maximum pace, but the closest to the line, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Near the target angle.
It was so tight at the top.
They're going across by 1. Happy, same with
All
Prada
about
behind them.
execution. American Magic still in the mix here.
Count as a 60. You're happy with that?
We had our eyes shut a little at gate 1, all coming in at pace. Athena Pathway led round the left-hand gate at the bottom of the screen. Luna Rossa at the right. And this battle ran and ran. There was nothing in it. But on the final leg, it was Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Took their 3rd win of the day. Nice job, women.
Really nice job done by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. 3 wins in a row. Julia, I've got to ask you, what did you say to the team after race 1 where there was that little bit of wobble? Now you've found your rhythm beautifully.
Yeah, no, I mean, we knew we could do well. We just remained focused and didn't give up after that first race. And yeah, I mean, the girls really, believe me, are doing an amazing job because these conditions are super tough and it's unbelievable how much trust Margherita and I are having on the trimmers. They're doing a great job, really.
It was the first time we'd heard you really celebrate as you crossed that finish line. You know, before today, you didn't really know how you were going to stack up against the opposition. How good did that feel?
Yeah, no, surely it's now we can celebrate because the day went pretty well. So yeah, like before we were just trying to remain focused for the next one, but now yeah, we have a couple of days to reset and be ready for next day of racing. But it's so exciting. It's so exciting to race in these boats. Really, the best sailing ever, best racing ever.
Julia, who's got the hardest job, the helms or the trimmers?
Absolutely the trimmers. They are the ones that...
Having been a trimmer of mine.
They are the ones that make us look good, really. As you say, Shirley, all the time.
I've been saying that for years, so no, well done. Good call. Enjoy tonight. Great job. Well done.
Thanks, Julie. Let's go on board Athena Pathway, Great Britain. Hannah, you're in a fight here.
Yeah, hey Stephen, that was a pretty epic day. Had a bit of everything.
Talk to me about the conditions. Talk to me about how you're having to adjust, particularly after race 1 and knowing now that this fight is going to go all the way because those conditions looked like it was a bit of rock and roll out there.
Yeah, it was. It was actually quite choppy. especially for the downwinds, and yeah, it just made the jibes a little bit sketchy, especially for us. We didn't do the best job there, but starting was good. It's so nice to just have good solid breeze in those last few races.
How much fun is the racing, Hannah? I mean, I'm so envious. It just looks fantastic. Glenn and I want to be out there. What is it like, 6 boats, neck and neck?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, Shirley. Honestly, like just the best racing. It's so intense. It's so fast. I think we would happily race all day, every day.
Hannah, I asked this question to Julia just a minute or so ago. Who's got the harder job, the helms or the trimmers?
Oh, definitely the trimmers. I think, you know, in the sea states, as it is in Barcelona, it's really hard for the trimmers keeping the boat under control and locked in.
Hey, Hannah, one final thought. After Britannia winning the Louis Vuitton Cup final yesterday, how much has that driven your team and given you just a real feel-good boost going into this?
Yeah, honestly, just the coolest thing to see the guys do that. Just so proud of them all. And actually, I think it ruined my sleep last night. I just had so much adrenaline. I was so pumped for just how well they did and just excited to get racing today.
I appreciate that. Well, guess what? You're sitting in second position. You're only about 4 points behind, so long way to go. Go get them.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
Let's have a look at one of the key moments. We talk about the need for speed a lot, but in truth, it's not just about going quick, it's how you use that pace. And this is a very good example of two teams shifting gears into attack mode. On leg 3, first it was Athena Pathway squeezing up to Luna Rossa and making massive gains. And then the Italians gave them the same treatment after the tag and managing to hold on to the lead. It's not easy to sail high and stay fast, but both these teams doing a great job of finding smart ways to attack.
Just having a little bit of a look at the data here, and it's Italy absolutely top the leaderboard now. They are sitting on top of the scores, and for race 4 on top of the data as well. Best average speed at 32.85 knots, just topping the best VMG by 0.1 of a knot. Distance and manoeuvres going the Italians' way as well. And all round a brilliant performance today, and they'll be absolutely looking forward to the next races coming up. Also a fantastic day for Athena Pathway.
The America's Cup, as we know, has always been a high-stakes, high-adrenaline game, but the foiling revolution has taken it into a new realm. It's spawned a new generation of sailors who fly rather than sail their boats. Lingy's assembled a top squad that represents the future of Swiss sailing.
Amazing to be part of the first ever Women's America's Cup. It's a privilege to be part of one of the teams and hopefully paving the way for more women. Sailing has been a male-dominant sport, and making my way here really is incredible, and I'm so proud of that.
To me, racing the first Women's America's Cup is a big opportunity and demonstrate that we can be better than the men. I hope that this brings also more girl and new girl in the sailing environment.
To prepare for the Women's America's Cup, it's a lot of details together that has to be perfect on the D-Day. So right now we for sure working on the technical part has been done, and now we need to work on details to be the best we can be, the 4 of us on the boat.
The training now it's super great in Barcelona because we're spending a lot of time here, so we stay in the environment of the Cup, and also we can be with all the team members, and it creates great relationship, which is important for the racing. There's going to be such tight situations, and these boats are rockets. We need to be making decisions in split seconds, and bringing that all together as a team will be the most rewarding feeling. So I'm super excited for that.
So the training sessions we had so far were a bit of a mix of sailing the AC40 and also doing some sim sessions.
My expectation for the Youth and Women's America's Cup is a big event, one of the most spectacular events in the world. We are in Barcelona, in a big city. I never sailed with the audience, so it will be a new experience, but also a big opportunity for the women's team.
Being in the first Women America's Cup is like, yeah, super unique. I think it's something we were not able to dream of before. Yeah, I think it's super good, and for the young women, it's yeah. I hope they're gonna watch it and they will think they can do it later.
I'm super proud to be part of the first ever in history of the Women America's Cup. And I'm proud of this new generation that wants to change some things and to have equity between genders. Yeah, it's a big step for us, and I'm super proud to be part of this event.
Lots of learning on day number 1 for Alingi Red Bull Racing. I love the line about well, sailing in front of crowds and having to do the job, but they are not too far away actually. When we look at the points just briefly, we'll look at them later. They're sitting just under the cut line, only three points under the cut line. So it's been an interesting day, hasn't it, when you think about what we've seen and them all having to adapt to the changing conditions after day number 2. But man, look at that, Shirley, how cool.
A slight difference in sail area, perhaps, Shirley.
Yeah, the J class are out in force here. They've got 3 of them racing, Falshida, Svea and Rainbow, and it's something else. A crew of 35. This is actually mostly a Kiwi crew. It's steered by Errol Williams, who's an America's Cup sailor, owned by Neville Crichton. Massively keen sailor. You have to wear helmets also, because the pole's so heavy. If it lands on your head, it's not good news. Beautiful boats. This was the America's Cup 100 years ago.
And back then, absolute cutting edge technology and super high performance. So naval architecture back then and now. Great to see the 2 different types of boats.
I mean, the best brains of their time 100 years ago, and now we're seeing the same here in Barcelona.
Cool. Absolutely super cool.
How scary is evolution, right? We're seeing it in front of you there on a day which saw history made as we saw the first race of the inaugural PUIG Women's America's Cup, and we have been absolutely enthralled when they have been rocketing up and down this course.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day conditions-wise, but the team's really adapted well and got better with every single race. And that, well, that amused us. Anyway, got the goggles wet. It was great to see. Great racecraft from all the teams, great learning.
I've been really impressed at, how quickly the races have just come better and better. Over that first couple of races, it was a little bit loose, breeze was a bit tricky. That last race, we saw some absolutely epic racing and the boats being really, really pushed to their limits and some really fantastic boat handling. So I'm excited about the races coming ahead. Hopefully we get some decent breeze over the next few days.
Yeah, and a
really
couple
cool.
of days now for these teams to sit with their coaches, get back on the simulator, fill the holes in their armoury so when they come back out.
Speaking of holes, sorry, Shirley, there was that big hole in race 2 when they ran into dead air. But, they responded, and that's the big thing, because when the conditions got up, they absolutely handled it to the max.
Yeah, holes in the breeze, okay. Holes in the boats, no good. So I've seen some great racing. And
one team stood out, though, and you cannot deny it. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, the day after their senior team exited the America's Cup, they've given them something to smile about, and in a funny old way, it's a nice little tonic 24 hours later. But boy, Athena Pathway Great Britain are not going to let go. It has been an awesome day of racing, the opening day of the PUIG Women's America's Cup. We couldn't have asked for better because it has delivered what we expected, and that is the trophy that they all want to get their hands on, to be the first to raise the PUIG Women's America's Cup trophy. That is the goal. Simple as that, but it's going to be so tight. Confirmation of what we saw on day one of the PUIG Women's America's Cup, and this is Group A. Remember this Group B, and there you go, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, Athena Pathway in a battle for the top spot, and then it's all on for who gets that final spot just below the cut line, a Lingy Red Bull Racing. Tomorrow, it's the invited teams. It will be Sweden, Canada, Australia, Spain, Germany, and the Netherlands. And as you can see, we are set to go for 4 thrilling fleet races. If today is anything to go by, you better book a spot somewhere. If you're in Barcelona on the beach or at home, wherever you are, book it and lock it in, because it's going to be thrilling. And so Barcelona on a Saturday has delivered us what we have come to expect. Beautiful scenery, a wonderful postcard backdrop to the race course here, and a day when the PUIG America's Cup gave a taste of home for one team and a thrill for us through our magnificent television coverage, and just rockets on the water, little rockets being handled beautifully, fast and competitively. Stay with us. Tomorrow's another day. It'll be day number 2 of the PUIG Women's America's Cup.